Star Wars is back. Hey, want to know what's going on at the House of Mouse? Stay tuned to find out. Just kidding. If you thought that was the show, you're on the wrong show.
I had a whole little dream in my head while I was making dinner last night about how like you and Meg had some like teenage Ashley Kate and Mary Olsen scoopers thing, right? Where like it was like those like this one's on in the UK, one's in LA, right?
That's not how we scoop over here in LA. I want to see what these UK scoopers are all about.
And we gotta go see how they do it in the West Coast.
If I get like any free time, I might mock up a VHS cassette image of that.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. By the way, my old buddy Jason Pemberfoot multitasking while in class today. Looking forward to today's Easter egg reveals. Yeah, I got a call from you yesterday, but I was sleeping. I went to bed early because we stayed up late the night before. I was totally out. Rob was like, "We need to do some sound mix work." I was like, "Sorry, I'm sleeping. So I'm a sleeping little baby."
Like you told me that.
I woke up at like 4 a.m. today, like totally awake, like, okay, let's start the day. And I was just like, what am I doing? What's going on here? But anyways, what is going on at the House of Mouse, guys? So yesterday we went over the Book of Boba Fett chapter 2, just kind of digging into the interesting kind of screen caps and looking into Easter eggs that we were finding. And then maybe you guys know some in the chat and you guys could help us out, whatever. But we ended with the Jabba the Hutt families, the twins on the days being carried. And now we're on to the Tusken part.
Ooh, I like that part.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, not all of these, some of these, sometimes we're just looking at pictures. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, we're just kind of I'm just kind of into this. But I don't think this is an Easter egg. But, you know, when it does that flashback look, there's a part of me that digs it, even though I don't think it's what they're doing. But it reminds me of old VHS and New Hope. Because that's what old VHS and New Hope looked like when the flashbacks start. Like everything is like kind of like, I don't know, under and overexposed in the desert and stuff. The movie used to look like crap. And
no, that's a good, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just me. I mean, that's not that. Oh, that's just something I like about it. Probably not an Easter egg necessarily, but yeah. Gotta say too. Saw a lot of people doing Easter egg videos. Nobody got the who jib. If you didn't get the who jib, get out. If you didn't get the who jib, you shouldn't be doing Easter egg videos on that episode. I'm just gonna say it. But
it's like our version of the Bartman.
Right,
like, oh God, don't pay me your son's sweat. Look at his mouth. It's the best. Like it really that animator, the Hoojib animator was like, man, I'm really going all out today. You know, like
I'm hitting it out of the park. I'm calling my shot.
James, this one is not this one's about sand. It's about sand. Another one will probably be about spaceships and slavery. One thing on spaceships and slavery, I'll make my own segue out of my bad joke, is that as I'm watching the episode last night, my daughter, she went to sleep. She didn't see it, so she wanted to watch it before she went to bed. We put it on and checked it out, and she loved all the Tusken stuff. She was like cracking up about it. But anyways, as they were going through, you know, and we got to the part about the like litter again, it stuck out to me more and more. I was like, yeah, Boba's obviously not going to be about slavery. And I think that there may actually be a story justification for changing the Slave One name and not going forward with it, you know, in terms of the current canon, just based off of that. I mean, like you see all of these opulent leaders on Tatooine being carried around by slaves. And he's like, I walk on my own 2 feet. I don't use people that way, and trying to make that example. So I could kind of see how having the Slave One ship kind of doesn't make sense with that character attribute, at least not at that point in his life. Anyways, he was trying to sell a child bride at one point in the Clone Wars. So going to leave that there. That's in canon. So
I think I'll change the name of my ship.
Yeah. These girls are discount prices, but I don't like slavery. But anyway,
getting back to that image really quick.
Oh yeah,
the dogs, right? I don't know who can rightfully complain about CGI in this show, and I mean, that looks pretty good, dude. Like, I don't know.
They did a pretty not crappy, but great job with a lot of the movements for the dogs. I like those, the way they move.
Yeah. The dog. I saw one of the cast members speaking on Instagram, and they said that sometimes it would just be like the head of a dog, like as like a puppet, and so it sounds like the heads may be CGI and the heads may be real and the bodies may be CGI at times.
Yeah,
but it works. They look better than the terror dogs in Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was 50-50 on. Like, it's like one of the few complaints I have about the film. I'm like, it's not quite there, but it's fine, whatever. That's pretty. I mean, however you get there, if it's part puppet, part whatever, I don't care. Like, that's pretty convincing.
Well, I like them better than the Boston Dynamics things that were walking around in the first episode.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So yesterday we were talking about that like motion blur. Oh well, I honestly, one thing if I James asked if the banthas are CGI, and the answer is some are and some aren't. Yeah. So this scene right here, in a weird way, kind of is sort of strange editorial. This is more of a critique, maybe, or maybe I'm just stupid. Probably both, but they're like raking the sand using this tool in the sand, and then I think they discover the wart / frog dog creature, and then it runs out, and then they like hunt it down. I watched it when I was screen capping this like over and over, trying to understand it, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like, all of a sudden, this I get the trope. It's like the trope of everyone's talking in the village or whatever. Then one of the hunters sees a deer and then hits it, and then all the kids are like, "This is how we do it." That's what it is. Like, I get that. But how it played out was super strange. And as when you watch it later on, you see them using this tool in the sand to pull stuff out. You're like, okay, I get it. So they basically uncover the animal in the sand and then hunt it down but it just plays really weird.
Mud skipper.
All I could think was like, I told you, comb the desert.
Yeah. And I believe they're frog dogs, and frog dogs were a team in the Old Republic stuff, and that one sport game that you could play. But also, they were just in Return of the Jedi eating that thing outside Jabba's palace at one point. I killed a ton of them in Star Wars Galaxies, by the way. They were all over the place. That was like one of the
great Frog Dog Massacre of 2003.
Yep.
All just to get like credit, like a reward. Like,
most of them were young.
Yeah, it was.
All they needed, they were just trying to something stupid, like trying to get like nayberry juice. Like, if you kill 50,000 frogs, we'll give you a vial of nayberry juice. Fucking Star Wars capitalism at the worst. Oh, man.
So James asks, "Is that the frog from outside Jabba's palace?" I'm going to say no. There's like tons of them. In Star Wars Galaxies, they were all over the place, just running up and down the street. Yeah. And then so James just texted me that he cried a little. I didn't see his message yesterday. Yesterday, I just missed everybody's message. I was just out of it. But anyways,
in general, it's okay to cry.
Yeah, we'll see Nahada. I'm sure we'll see Nahada at some point.
And like I was saying, I don't know who, there's so many talented people on this episode that worked on it, that made it one of the best. I think maybe one of the finer Star Wars things we've ever had, really, the more I watched the second episode. And
the music, the sound, the editing, everything.
Yeah, it's very, very solid. But look at this right here. Like, this looks like it may be based off of like an old painting or something from like the Civil War or something, for all I know. But that, just like the way that the shots are lined up for nothing but two figures in the desert, I like the composition a lot.
Some folks were complaining about, they called it fake sign language, and it turns out was it this deaf actor helped create it? You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
so I was like, maybe some of the other sides want to chill on that.
I think
so,
I think that person is the main Tusken too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
certain.
I just say this: if you're gonna go about that, just do that to them. Just do
Right.
that.
The female Tusken is the body double or stunt double for Brie Larson's Captain Marvel.
Okay, yeah, not to be that guy outright, but I saw the Tuscan lady was like beautiful, and I was like, why? I mean, I'm glad she got the job, but I was like, you shouldn't be a Tuscan, you should be an actor. You know,
Well,
should
she
be
can
on
be both.
Like Zoe Bell, yeah.
I was like her fighting style. I'm like, this is like how I figured Kylo would be kicking it. She has like a lot of that like forward, like aggressive stancing, like especially when she gets on the train and shit. Super dope.
Yeah.
I was
Joanna
funny though. I
Bennett,
was like,
that's
I don't
her,
remember
yeah.
anyone complaining about fake ASL during the 2D Clone Wars cartoon when they're all like, you know, like all the military commando movements, you know, like we don't do that in the army. We don't go like, I know everyone thinks you do, but like
Well,
Navy
I
SEALs might, but
yeah, it's a cultural Easter egg. What happens when you grow up in an educational system that teaches you just to be able to write 5 paragraphs and make an argument? They're just happy that you're not that stupid. Means that you grow up, you get on Twitter, and you think that because you can make an argument, it's a valid argument that you should make, and then it becomes your personality. We got problems, but hey,
Yeah.
it's January 6th. Let's celebrate. Oh
I
no,
feel like
wait.
that was a warning for Rob.
It's an
I
insurrection
feel like
day,
Jason
sir.
was doing some subtle shade there. Like, I'm gonna write that down again. That's really good
There's
stuff.
the insurrection train on its way.
Yeah, Trump train. Woo, woo. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Remember that?
So is that a jet engine or a pod racer engine? Because it looks a little long, but it does look like a pod racer engine. But those look like jet engines too. So I don't know.
It's a long pod with great girth.
Or did the pods were they like just like if you leave your train unparked outside Walmart for a while, a pod racer guy might come up and a bunch of pit droids will steal your engine and shit.
Hey, nice train. Where you get it?
Will we ever see a Tuscan face reveal? Could this be all leading up to one? I got to be honest. I don't want it. Do you guys want it?
I don't want it either. I half want it after seeing this last episode, but no. I would rather prefer they keep the mystique.
There's no right answer. There's just no right answer to it.
I always felt we did see one in another movie, The Last Starfighter, when those red aliens get their head knocked off and they got those little
Centauri, Centauri, come on, wake up,
probably
Centauri.
Those look like Tuscans. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If they like, I was yesterday. I was half bitching about the fact that the Spice Kids. What are they called? The guys. Yeah, I don't know what kind of. The Pikes. We've only seen the Pikes like in a very limited thing over the years. We've already seen their faces. And on that one, I will say the concept art that was done for Solo was so good. I don't mind it. And I think that in a way we get 2 for 1 out of it. Like they could show, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of okay with it. But I'm also a little bit like, I wish we just didn't know. Like it's kind of, sometimes it's better, you know?
Well, because I think they would look like Boba when he's sitting in the Bacta tank. That's what he took their head off. Like that's all it would look like.
I just feel like Spice Kids is a cartoon we should have got in the late 90s, right? Like all the Spice Girls when they were kids. This is Spice Kids, right?
It's us in grade school meeting each other for the first time.
Man, you know all about this.
Doesn't sound like any of the Spice Girls I've ever heard. It's like the Charles Dickens
I don't know.
Spice Girl.
But I will
want some more
accept it.
gruel and VH1 pop up. You know, all right, okay.
I will accept it as a Meg impersonation, though. I don't know why. I just will.
They should replace those gun games at the at Disneyland with this. You can just like shoot Tuscans. Oh no.
You know, if I and obviously it's probably somewhat budgetary, somewhat just making things uniform. If I had to be super critical about the design in the episode on anything or identify where it was weak, I think it was the train's cars in the end. The fact that like in Star Wars, everything is always kind of like a little bit different. And, you know, there's a little bit of like bubblegum put on stuff here and there. and this train that's just being used to move space crack and guns. I feel like maybe some of the cars should have been different colors, or different stuff on them, or some tagging, just something to like. But I think that they wanted to make one from all of the action on the one, so they needed it to be uniform for that on on set, on stage kind of stuff. But
I don't know. I think I disagree in that. I think that's modern design stuff where we feel we have to put a texture and a pattern on everything. Like if you look at old 70s stuff, it was based around a big shape, and then the front end of the train actually looks like that retro futuristic train that was built in the 30s. They actually built a train that looked a lot like that, like in Germany or something. It was like a big, like retro futurisms, like that Rocketeer 30s stuff. So
Yeah.
I like it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't mind the design of the train itself. I just feel like it being on Tatooine, and I think you locked up. Did you lock up too, Jesse? You good, Jesse?
No.
Okay, wait, he's back. He's back. He's moving now. Yeah, just like I just feel like for it to have been lived in, like I am with you though. I do feel like that is a train from the 30s being used in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Train. Didn't you see that movie? I love Money Train.
But I mean, but like
it's the second most low stakes thing of all time. It's just there's a money train and a guy really hates them. Like it was a Beretta. What's it? Robert Blake.
Loja?
Robert Blake. Yeah,
the guy who killed a person.
He killed his,
it was Blake?
his wife.
It was Blake. Okay.
I told my wife, I'm like, he's like, I showed her that last Christmas and she hadn't seen it, and she's like, he's really intense. I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's acting. Killed a person.
Yeah. I just thought they wasted a lot of water though, for as much as they love water at the end when they knocked the
Tuscans are kind of dumb though. Like we already saw that earlier in the episode when they start tearing apart the bikes, and he's like, no, and there's that extra one who goes.
I like how Boba walks up. He's all, I have brought you gift for you. Mine. These are mine. Damn it. Don't touch them.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's funny when people go, why would you use your hand? I'm like, you ever been in another country where you can't speak the language? I have.
Exactly.
You know what people start doing, right? Like they start doing this like it means, or they speak louder like they're fucking deaf. Like
yeah.
Just what do you like, that's why I draw things. You know, I drew a toilet once and they're like, yeah. I was like, toilets look the same.
Yeah, living in Southern California,
flashcards and put them in your pocket.
We have a lot of really good taco places, and it is pretty funny when you have like a lady or a guy who's like is like in front of you and they're having a hard time ordering. They start going Roja, I want the Roja sauce, the Roja, and they just like won't stop. It happens all the time. So Tuscan Raiders are probably just like. I get it, man. But anyways,
shut up.
It is kind of funny when you like look at where they were filming this, and there's literally trains right behind that are way more interesting to me, and it should have had a caboose. I'm a caboose guy. I'm all about the caboose.
Money train. It's not a train.
It's
not like they were getting on there and having.
It's not Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah.
There's no Will Smith here.
It's not the Junlin Abbey. Right, where they're taking the train to go get some biscuits and
man. I just started Red Dead again, like last week, and I just robbed the train. That train was different. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I had to be critical, it could have used more design. I don't even care if it was just like slightly like different primer on each one, but
nah, the sand would always rip that shit off as fast as they were going.
Oops, I think I skipped. Did I skip one? All right, whatever. I just do what I want now. I don't know how far I jumped ahead, but I did jump ahead. But anyways, this right here I thought was sort of maybe weird even. It's a really dark shot, but
was that the one that took him out in the young kid that he was kind of befriended?
No, the young kid that he befriends makes
just
it.
You know, I can't see nothing.
It's that dark.
I can barely see it.
Yeah, it's super dark.
Yeah, it's a super dark shot. Yeah, it's a screenshot. It is. That's how it is in the show. So
I was just making certain it wasn't like yesterday where it locked up or something.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Anyways, the thing I wanted to point out is the body is wrapped and tied just how Anakin does Shmi Skywalker when she dies. And he brings her back for burial. And like they did that in this. And I was like, I couldn't remember. I don't think they did that for the Jawas. So I just thought it was kind of weird that Anakin may have shown up to the Tuscan camp murdered the women and the children too, and then wrapped his mom up how they would have wrapped their own up. Like, was that like if we just get obviously askew reality, just look at it in our head canon. What a psychopath! I'm just gonna throw it out there. He's like, I'm just gonna go right out here and I'm gonna honor my mom how you would have honored your people, but I'm just gonna kill you all with a lightsaber and leave you there. And so I'm just gonna add that onto the notch of Anakin being a psychopath.
Well, he didn't care about cultural appropriation, so he just, it was a little bit more handier to him. So
he starts wearing Tusken robes, like, hey guys, yeah. So, anyways, I don't know if that one was out of order or not. I don't remember. But
when OJ showed up to his wife's funeral.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's gonna find the killers, though. He's on it. Don't worry. You're gonna
Charlie. Did you read the book? He says it was Charlie. Like I was like, why didn't you bring Charlie up in court? Read his book or listen to the audio novel, which is even better. He doesn't make any money. The Goldmans got it, but on the audio novel, they got an OJ impersonator to do the voice. It's great. It's fantastic. Everything. Only the victims of someone whose son was murdered could get away with that, and I love it. Like,
yeah, I heard that he took. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that he had a medication that made his hands swell up, and that like he just like doubled his medication for the gloves don't fit and must have quit day, so that way the glove.
Or it's mimosas, man. You ever drink too much mimosa and you're like, man, I got water. Like.
You can feel your hands when you drink too much. I'm just like,
my hands puffy, man. Sugar makes me puffy.
Yeah.
Joe called it the Solar Express. Excellent.
Oh, come on. There has to be a Pike out there who's like, my name is Little Skeezy. And he's like writing Little Skeezy on there.
Look, honestly, if I were 13 and really into SoundCloud rappers, that would be my new name.
Here's the best part about SoundCloud, dude. You don't have to put your picture. You can be any age you want to be.
Exactly.
It's not too late for Little Skeezy Rob's rap career.
It's too late for my career to survive that to leave. All right, I don't got so many scandals left in my career for that. It's too much.
So when I die, I want to be buried in the traditional Tusken burial wrappings, but I want it to be a trick. I want everyone to think I'm doing that. Then I want you and Jesse to come out with bats and start hitting me. Then I want candy to fly everywhere. Yeah, right. And people are like, what? Oh, candy. It's okay.
Like piñata.
It's a word piñata.
So anyways, not really an Easter egg, but
they don't have faces. They're stuffed with Tusken candy, like tattooing candy. They come to life when you put the face on. The really Tuskens are just piñatas.
Yeah. What I was going to say was this isn't an Easter egg, but I like how they wrote this line where the Tuskens just conceptualized the train as not having a word for train or not understanding what it is as long speeder, because they've learned what a speeder is over the time. As we've seen in A New Hope, they're kind of all about it. They're like, look at this thing, man, we need this. But yeah, see, these are just really dark, but love this shot too. This is one of the shots, kind of, like I said, kind of dark here. But one of the shots where I'm like, man, if this had actually been shot on location, it would have been so much better. But for a volume shot, I think it's pretty good.
It's good.
So
yeah.
Looks good on my 4K. I got one of those Bravia 950s I bought last year for my birthday. It's like, I'll treat Rob.
Yeah.
And I'm always, all right, let's see what this looks like. All right, looks good. Like, it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, and then a couple of things on my rewatch, not necessarily an Easter egg either, but how they, he has this cool little thing right here that like latches it onto his jumpsuit, and I was like kind of curious if he was using what was designed for like the suit in the rocket pack originally, because like you can see holes in the costume, and I was curious if that was
there was like two little hooks on the back of his costume at one point where you could see that they latched on to the jetpack or the armor that holds the jetpack.
Yeah,
like
so it might be like in universe costume design that's meant to like evoke that. Also, want to say he's kind of comes off as a badass on the second watch too. When you see like he makes that really cool.
Man, he makes that thing. That's sick.
Is it a Gaddafi stick or a Gaddafi stick? I've always heard
sticks.
Yes, Gaddafi. And I put it up.
Gaddafi sticks. That's what I heard.
Gaddafi got it bad, man.
That's why it's that's why it's got a sharp point at the end.
But
it's not funny, but what can he do, right? It happens.
Sons of Anarchy. And Sons of Anarchy in the Star Wars universe now.
yeah, I know a lot of the Arabesh alphabet. Don't get too wet or too hard, boys, but I can do that sometimes. And the back of the jackets just say Tatooine. For the record, I didn't even need to look it up.
Then I wonder when they spray paint the logo, is that supposed to stand for the?
Yeah, so I was thinking about
anything to have them put polecats and Arabesh on there or something.
I think that these guys must be really nice though, because if you could think about it, if you went to a bar or something like that, and there was like a bunch of guys. And they ride motorcycles on the weekend and they have Earth on the back of their jacket, they're probably super cool. They're probably super nice. And they probably thought it was
girls' drinks and beat up the owner half the time.
Maybe they thought it was family
style.
Family style. Maybe they're a family. They thought it was all family style that night.
Yeah, they watch Captain
It's
Planet.
not Buca de Beppo's.
When you're here, your family.
Hey, my family, we murder each other.
She's like, this lady over here is like, these motherfuckers think this is an Olive Garden. It's not.
What do I tell them when we're
Guess they're not going to wear their masks appropriately. These guys.
Oh, they're going to be mad about the salad.
So right here, this is where she realizes she got with the wrong guy. She's like, if I had
a dream last night, I was with Luke, and he never joined the Empire. It would be great if she turned that chapter of the Last Jedi's audio novel into her own dream. Yeah.
Oh, she's thought about it while flicking that bean with this loser. Come on, she had to have. Yeah, but yeah, right here. I mean, like as I'm watching it, I'm just really uncomfortable for him because I'm like, you have two options. One is you stand up for yourself in front of the girl. And maybe you win. You probably don't against a group of motorcycle riding guys with Tatooine on the back of their jackets, right? But you could have just left. I mean, you could have just got up and left. But instead, he's like, you know what? It's not right. I'm going to take a stand, kind of. I'm like, fixer, you're a dumbass.
I'm fixer. I fix things. I'm going to fix it.
Wait, where are you going, Mr. Bean? Huh? Sit back down.
I'm going to fix it and make it right. Yeah, but fucking Cammy,
down with Teddy.
Cammy wants the divorce right there. You can tell she's thinking about it.
Oh, that's your lady friend here. Hey, how are you doing?
And he's like, look, I brought you here tonight because I just want to talk about what happened last night. I just want you to know that's never happened to me before, and it was the first time. Okay.
Look, that's Lone Star's jacket. I'm just telling you, like it's Lone Star's jacket.
Like,
that's like what happens when that new app, It's Just Lunch, when it goes wrong.
I don't know what that is.
No idea what you're talking about.
It's like a meeting. It's like a eHarmony type of thing.
Sorry, I only use Farmers Only, so you're out of my. But yeah,
I'm glad they didn't feel the need to shove in a droid or something though.
Yeah.
Like they kept it 70s. Like that's a cramped space.
Oh, look, he's doing the thing. I think where the jacket, but your shirt hangs out the back. She's gotta be fucking regretting everything about this.
She said, "I want you to wear your nice coat." And he just put his nice coat right over his dirty clothes. There, I'm wearing a nice coat.
So we're going to Olive Garden at Anchorhead. It's not family style, so don't worry. You can have your own food.
Or he forgot a coat, and they said there's a dress code, and they gave him that coat to wear, and it's Lone Star's coat.
Come on, this is Anchorhead. But I'm gonna throw it out there that he was wearing that jacket first.
I'm gonna put it out there. All the bikers are wearing jackets. There might be a dress code. Say what you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to point out the old BMW airplane IG-88 engine is right here. Wrote a whole article about it on Making Star Wars. If you ever want to look that up, just look up IG-88 at Making Star Wars, and you can find the whole thing. This is like a BMW, I believe, airplane engine part. They used it in the cantinas, and then they repurposed it to create IG-88. And then now it's super weird because they're using IG-11's head to make beer.
I thought they would
That makes
use it for whiskey or vodka, but damn.
I'm wondering if they like made a mold of one, or if they're actually using the part still. I kind of don't think they're using the original part still, but
There needs to be an IPA called IG88, dude. That is just the head,
right?
Yeah.
right? Sour. And
Right here.
they're playing Space War, dude. It's great.
Yeah. That game was in the original cutscenes. You could see the guys behind, two guys behind Luke and
The
Biggs.
prototype asteroid Space War.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm just
I don't
gonna
know
say
why they have so many fucking buttons down there, but
You played a course.
well, if you were good at the game, you would know, man. You just mash buttons. You just play it like it's Blanca in Street Fighter. Gotta get serious. Gotta actually try, dude. Yeah, but right here, I think that she's thinking Biggs had a porno star mustache. It means he could get down. He could satisfy me, right? He died. Now he's a war hero because they won the war. I would have had a pension. And now I'm stuck here. I'm not even at Maggiano's. I'm at Space Olive Garden. And this motherfucker is taking my barbecue chips, which they have at this Olive Garden for some reason.
And no one's wearing a mask.
They won't wear a mask. Yeah. So yeah, right there, you can just see Tatooine. And I'm not sure like what this symbol is specifically on the back. Sometimes it looks like on the bikes, and that was something we'll get to when we get there later on, is it looks like the bikes have the train conductor on them. And I'm not sure, maybe that's what it is. And so I'm curious if in the end we're going to have a weird kind of roundabout problem with these guys working for the train people, and then they make the deal with the train people, but he just kicked their ass over here at the bar and stole the bikes. And so I'm wondering if that leads to further problems for him, you know?
Oh yeah, there'll be further confrontation.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, those huts are going to come back for him for sure.
But it looks like
the
a pirate
conductor,
hat.
as we keep calling him, prefers to be called the Maestro.
The Maestro.
The Maestro.
Yeah. And then right here, he just keeps
Thanks,
getting.
wimp. Now get yourself one.
Yeah, man, he needed that George McFly moment. I was hoping there was going to be some, like, I mean, it was fine. It was how it should have been, but I kept hoping there was going to be some like redemptive moment, you know, where like Boba starts beating everybody's ass, and then maybe at the end he gets the guy who got him or something. But nope, he just got. I mean, I hate to use the word, but what a cuck at the end of the day.
Turned into a wallflower at that point.
Yeah. Jason says, how sad is it he took Cammy to the same bar where they've been going for about a decade for their anniversary dinner? Lame.
Well, because he can't get the reservations at the nice places. I mean, he's got no drive.
Or maybe
you think he's taking her to a Twilight bar with them dudes? Are you fucking out of your mind? There's no way would. I mean, it is ridiculous when you're like, you tell me Uncle and Apu never once just, hey, let's go down to the Twilight bar and see what happens. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of this episode for me was like, these are just the slow scenes in between him making that face.
Dude, yeah, it's. I mean, it's both when Old Brew dances with the Twi'leks, it's both hot and weird for Owen at the same time. It makes him a little jealous, but a little bit interested at the same time. So yeah, but we see most of this stuff right here, watching the TV spots over and over. Oh yeah, this dude back here reminds me of that guy from the. It's just a random connection, not even a connection, but the guy from the cutscene in episode 3 where the rebellion started. There's like that one dude who just like looks like he sells weed on the side. You know, I don't know if you remember him, but
It's Tommy Chong.
Yeah, he's just like this guy with like his hair in the bag and he's like a big old scraggly beard, and he's just like, yeah, let's start a rebellion, man. That sounds cool.
Or that's what they would have Jorah Sabath look like.
But yeah, and then George Lucas's daughter is like, "You're brave, Your Highness," and ruins the whole scene. All right, yeah. So little thing right here. We see the dogs. Everybody's working for the weekend in that tribe, you know. The dogs are digging up those things as well.
Yeah, pull your own weight, son.
And they
Go
do kind of
hard for the water.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah, this is one of those little cool moments that you miss. This right here, Rob's going to put that on a T-shirt, and it's going to say, "Right off to the deserts of Tatooine," and he's going to get mad about it. No, maybe
Somebody attack the polecats. Red burger, you're dumber than dead. Yeah.
So then there's a switch where they can just glide along, huh? You can drag it along. You don't have to push the gas.
Yeah, there is. Stop bitching. Jesus. There's an Ewok mode too. You know what I mean? So just so Ewoks can fly these fucking things.
Oh, I forgot to translate that. Yeah.
So these are swoops, right? These
Swoop gang
official
bike, yeah.
swoops?
I would say
Swoops.
so. Yeah,
Swoops
I
have
would
the high,
say-
easy rider bars.
Yeah,
And speeder bikes
Yeah.
are they're like Kawasaki's.
yeah.
Bond
They
hopper.
I just like once again the staging and how all these shots are shot is so good. I'm glad that overall the average complaint was the stuff was boring, because I was like, even if it was boring, it was shot well, but it wasn't boring. So
We definitely covered things they could have. I mean, they could have been in an area that was a little more interesting, but other than that, whatever.
yeah.
The geography of this, the shots on this, like where you know where everything is now. You got a good sense of where everything is, and like this composition too, where the leader's in the center, and the twin tents are in between. He's cutting through like this. The composition is clear. Look, she's over there. That it's all super readable. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it all makes sense.
Very discernible.
Yeah, you could keep track of where everyone is. I think this guy right here might be the guy at the forge later on. I'm not sure though. But yeah. I was pleasantly surprised by how good a lot of this stuff looks like, and these moments were.
I wasn't expecting that part.
Yeah, it's almost like an 80s movie in a weird way. Like, you know what I mean? Like a bunch of nerds getting taught, or they're
It's Police Academy, and he's fucking Gutenberg.
Yeah. It definitely, like, I was like, when it started, I was like, uh-oh, and I'm like, okay, it's working now. It's working. Like, as my kid was cracking up, my son was cracking up when it happened, and then when I watched it with Penny last night, she was like, "This is the best part." So I was like, okay, it's definitely working for your person who doesn't need it, just as the natural funny moment. But still, once again, all shot really, really, like, very basic, but really well. There's something comical about it all. And
I like it when people go, it's just some people standing there. What are you making a big deal out of it? Like, well, because they could really dumb this up, you know. And
Oh yeah.
go anybody who says that, go look at your Instagram and ask yourself if it looks like a Star Wars movie, because it doesn't. You're bad at it, myself included. So, yeah, this I couldn't tell. Is that actually like an actual mirror for somebody to use, or is it like a cap?
I think it was a cap or some kind of part or something that he's.
Yeah, just something that's kind of just
it's
being
on birth
used.
control, huh?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, it's free, man.
The
Take advantage of it.
weird part is if the Tuscan chief should get a school bus boner from riding on the back of the thing, he gets the
gaffy stick, or are you just happy to see me? It's so stupid. It's the lowest hanging of fruit.
Digging into my hip.
That joke was just 1 inch under the sand, you know, like got it.
That's what she said. All right, so is that the train conductor?
It looks like, yeah, that does look like the conductor.
I don't know.
It looks like him to me.
Something. It's kind of like a Bomar monk to me. Like,
So the train conductor looks
I can
like
see that too, yeah.
Looks like he's a Bomar monk who decided to get a job.
do you think they just drive through Bomar and then stamp him on the side? Got one.
Yeah. They just put those on there. Ohio State Buckeyes going to get the little sticker on the helmet.
Yeah, but yeah, if anybody in the chat thinks it doesn't look like it, let me know, or if you have a different idea. But it definitely implies, at least during the development, that there were supposed to be some connection between those guys and the guys on the train, and maybe it changed. Who knows? But yeah, and you can see some more of the right here. You can see it again, and so it definitely doesn't. It looks like it could be it, but it's hard to say. So much of these shots have little details in them that make me think, yeah, it is. But not really the most interesting thing ever. But you get to see how they sharpen their things using a giant ass sharpening stone. Pretty serious business.
Mm-hmm.
As you watch through the whole episode, whether you like it or not, you do kind of learn every single aspect about how the weapon's made. Like they literally go through maybe an overview, but an overview of every aspect of it and down.
It was literally like an episode of Forged in Fire.
What is that? Is that a show where they make swords and shit?
Yeah, it's like a competition show where they have 3 dudes and they all have to make a sword that's presented to them by the judges. And then
at the end, do they fight? Do they fight with it?
They have they have 3 different judges who take the sword, and one of them is usually the guy who will cut the ballistics dummies and stuff. They'll use the ballistics dummies, or actually like a full pig or half a pig, and they'll actually just see how far to slice through after they hit a bunch of metal or like a giant log and shit. And it's just, there's some of them where the sword literally just like blows apart when they're trying to do it right in the guy's face. But then there's a lot of them where it's like, Jesus Christ, they're scary.
Whenever I pick up a real sword or even an ornamental sword, I always hold it up and I go, nice balance. And people think you know what you're talking about. I don't even know what that means. But if you say that, they always
nice balance in this pommel. Yeah.
They always think you know. So try it. It's fun. Yeah, so here's where we see the rake from earlier now, and you see what they're doing. I almost feel like if there was any thought in it at all, this was probably supposed to, a shot like this or this shot was probably supposed to come first, and then maybe was reoriented during editing, and it comes later. So you don't really know why the frog dog jumps out.
Zen rake.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Zen.
Wait, let me see if I think I'm doing this wrong. Here we go. Yeah, look at those creepy ass Tuscan fingers, little dirty digits.
Oh, they're wrapped up still too, man.
God, I'm gonna butcher the name, so I'm not gonna say it. In the Conjuring universe, there's like the spin-off with the like Mexican nun, like La Llorona or something. Like, I don't know if that's how you say it. I can't remember.
The Curse of Santa Maria,
with a knife,
or something like that.
What was it?
Curse of Santa Maria or whatever it's called.
She has like an actual name, but anyways, I'm kind of curious if they took the silhouette of that idea and used it for this Tuscan, because a lot of the time she reminds me of that Tuscan, or of that ghost apparition figure that's like crying for her babies, and it definitely has that vibe to it. I don't know if that's on purpose or if it's a coincidence.
I don't know. I don't think that's
pretty cool though. That's pretty cool. Gotta say. It is kind of funny though.
As they gone jackals in our mesh. Now that I think about it, that would have been the best.
Joe.
They're the gone jackals.
Well, Star Wars in game says that episode 2 put out like a video game level. So being Star Wars in game, that must mean you loved it, right? That means you loved it.
Well, then we 100%ed it and bought the DLC on top.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This one.
We like that level.
We are 100%ing this bitch right now. That's
we got our trophies.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say was and then we got a better look at the train here. I like the front of the train. It just has that I don't know, almost like a sail barge skiff kind of thing, but from someplace else vibe to it. Giant pod race engine on the top.
Battle droid tank.
It's very prequel-y to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's a better take. And then the back of it is
Is
the
OT.
design is based off of the back of the bunker from Return of the Jedi, and they
Oh,
did
yeah,
that
I can
on
see it.
the train for Solo a Star Wars Story as well. So like
That's the caboose.
the idea is that yet the rear is reinforced, so you can't just blow out the back and jump on. It's the idea.
The front is PT, the back is OT.
Yeah, definitely very, very Return of the Jedi though, right there.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I actually like that better here than I do in Solo a Star Wars Story. The one on Solo a Star Wars Story, it just looks like fucking Return of the Jedi all of a sudden. It just like looks like it almost.
Too much like a roller coaster. Yeah.
But yeah, right here, the poor banthas in this episode. When you're just like screenshotting the shit, it's pretty sad because these banthas they get shot. They have sad little lips when they die. They're like and everything.
hurt nobody.
Yeah, but I was just happy I got him mid blast. The blast impact screenshot. That's next level accidental Jar Jar Binks stuff. But look at him go down. Look at him die.
Mm-hmm.
Look right here. He's like Tony. You were the best Tusken Raider I ever knew, man. I'm gonna miss you, dude. Our barbecues will never be the same. When we used to make swords and go out and like hit pigs with it and shit and make that show, it's some of the best years of my life, man.
Were they using the bantha as bait, or did they legitimately just not remember to move the banthas away?
They just literally are
They
bad
just
at
left
that
the
part.
bantha there. Honestly, I think that's it.
Yeah, and this guy is like, this guy knows who killed Tupac. He was at Foot Locker that day when that chain got stolen.
The masks for those characters was like, okay, here we go, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, yeah.
You're picking the wrong trilogy to be messing with Flash Gordon references. You got clone troopers and Mings and Padme things and chrome ships and.
Hey, like, I would have taken Shy Guy at this point. Shy Guys. But we get a good look at the at a Tusken
Mauser shows up with like one time I was playing Super Mario Bros. 2 and I glitched it and 3 Mausers appeared. And I was like, you son of a bitch. But I was like right at the very end when you fight Warrior to refight all the bosses, I glitched it and like I almost got him and 3 fucking Mausers appear. And I was like, I can't, there's no way you can restart this. I'm at the end of the game.
Yeah. How'd it go? Did you win?
I beat him, but it was stressful. I had to hit the pause button, stressing. Like it was running.
I used to be jumping all over Birdo's eggs. I didn't give a fuck, dude. Birdo could throw anything at me. It didn't matter.
I'm not good at games. So.
Yeah, nice shot.
Yeah,
as well. Great. Like how the old dunes look.
Now, as fast it was going, and then they finally actually do take it down and stop it. Like the other Tuskens on foot show up pretty quickly, or was it just?
Yeah, there was a couple of questions I kind of had about it that I didn't quite understand. Like the chief, is he just kind of like lagging behind, and goes in after everyone else dies? Is that like his game in the end? Because the chief kind of like I don't think he's in here doing stuff, but
I thought he was the one that made the jump finally onto the bike.
Was he? I don't know. Anyways, what I wanted to point out though, in terms of like dumb trivia stuff, right here, this fool gets his mask flies off his face when he gets hit. He gets hit right there, and you can see it. You can see it flying over to the side over here, and it comes right off, and then you can see his face. So if you're ever in a trivia contest and they're like, when's the first time you see a Pike's face? You got to say on the train. Then they're going to say no at the end, and then you can test it and you win. That's my take. Anyways,
all I see is a face on that door.
Yeah, this guy right here. I do like him with the mask on though, but also interesting choice because they have like that Tusken little diodes on their face as well. And I'm like, that was the other thing about it is like in Star Wars, you're like, why do people wear masks? And like, why do these guys wear masks? Do they need it to breathe? Because they just take that shit off like it ain't nothing. So like, what do they have it for? All
Keeps them
I don't
moist.
know.
Maybe they have to keep moist somehow, and that just the Tatooine air dries them out too fast. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's got a text message. All right. Anyways, let me pull the next image. Laser blast. Cool. Sorry. I'm dumb, but I like it. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's really anything to add to, with all of these little shots here. Just stuff I was like, I want to get a closer look
There's
at
something hidden in the shadows. It's Mephisto or Venom. Like,
it. Does the train conductor have battle droid fingers? Kind of looks like very close to them.
Johnny Five Fingers, bro.
Johnny Five.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a citizen,
He is.
Yeah, but he's gold plated too now, right?
Gold-plated citizen.
He's like, I've been dropping NFTs all over the place.
So the train conductor uses that microphone for a face thing and there's like a couple of things about it. Like I feel like the microphone bit may have been used on 21B, the medical droid from Empire Strikes Back, but during the during the sequels, when you're at Maz Kanata's castle and you see the Resistance spy reporting in, they both have the First Order and the Resistance have spies at Maz Kanata's place. There's a droid, same microphone mouth, and so like a little reused, real life thing being reused in design motifs. Yeah, and this is really good. That completely, I don't know, Star Wars steampunk, literally like.
That's
for sure,
gotta be what it is, man. It's gotta be Star Wars steampunk.
It literally is. Yeah, it's a train. It like literally is
punk, bro.
space punk.
Space punk. All right, yeah, space punk.
But I may have accidentally thrown out one of the screenshots of this, but this panel right here, it actually works. I mean, in terms of like visually, it accurately shows you like what it's doing, how it diverts power from the train cars and then into the engine as you watch it. There's actually,
unlike the flux capacitor, which I have no idea how that.
What is that doing? Nobody. You know what it's doing? It's letting you make out with Leah Thompson, but you know what the bad part about it is? She's your mom.
Oh no!
Oh, no. Fuck the flux capacitor. I think it's a dick. But yeah, just more pod race engine.
Like, well, what happened to pod races? I'm like, you see that engine right there? They're all trains now.
They're on train.
Yeah, she got on the train and wreck shop. That was good.
Yeah. I like how they managed to consistently just give those characters like they come off as somewhat stupid at times, but they're not, because they have this like laser focus. So like that, like the focus of the character imbues them with this like level of intelligence. So you don't really think they're like stupid. Like when they're when they're like curious, they come off as stupid when they're curious. But that's pretty much it. They're just like super focused, no nonsense. But yeah, the way that they shot her action moments it worked. They worked as action moments and they made you laugh. And I think that's a good Star Wars quality. That's rare. The director Steph Green, I hope does a lot more with Star Wars, because it's pretty good work. Yeah, just another shot of that stuff. I like that stuff. I don't know if anybody else does, but I just
it looked like he was playing a game. As long as he kept the line straight and yellow, he was getting power.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? Johnny's gonna build us some Kerbal space down there. So I think should.
There were a couple of moments too. I would like really need to like check, and I'm pretty lazy, so I probably never will. But I feel like, the scene in Back to the Future Part 3 when they're taking the stacks and throwing it in, I feel like some of the editing may have followed the rhythm of that, of when Doc and Marty take hold of the train right before it goes
the colored things in.
Yeah. Like I kind of started. I started to kind of sense that, and I was like, I need to check, but I didn't check. I went to bed. But right here is where we get the Tusken who gets barbecued. which is funny to me. And then this scene right here is one we were briefly talking about last night. It's like when they're flying over this right here, like this is what I think George Lucas was hoping to get in Return of the Jedi when we added those banthas in front of the skiff. I mean, and back then I was like, that's amazing. They added to the visual effect. I couldn't believe it, but you see this moment and you're like, ooh, this is nice.
A herd of banthas.
Yeah, looks cool.
or they nerf, so you could be a nerf herder.
No, the nerfs are something different, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh yeah, this little blaster here. I'm pretty sure we've seen it someplace else, but I also think it's in that concept art that we were showing the other day for Star Wars Ragtag.
It looks like one of the handheld ones you get in Battlefront to begin with. One of the officer specials.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's that. Yeah, that's true. There were those little handguns in there too, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, the show becomes a lot more basic in terms of like the visuals, as in it's here's two figures fighting. Oh, there goes the barbecue guy again. He's flying away. I kind of wouldn't have minded if he was on fire though. That would have been cooler.
He's credited as Fuego in the credits.
Yeah.
And I love this. Yeah.
Requesting a flyby.
Yeah, right here we can see the train conductor when he first hits the sand, and then gets up. Oh,
and that was the same scene like from the second Transformers movie I don't know, I think the first one had that little thing.
Oh, it does kind of have that vibe of that robot from this. Is it the second one?
I think it's the second one. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a terrible movie. I remember that much.
That little thing that jumped off and went in everywhere.
And I would need to watch this again, but I'm pretty sure they just keep throwing the same cargo out of the thing. There's like 3 or 4 different pieces, and every time you see it, it's just like the same ones going through. They just kind of kept feeding
Union
them.
Guys underneath grabbing it and hand it to the other person who runs around back. And
yeah,
we're going out of business sale.
The magic of cinema.
I'm thankful there's enough Star Wars material out there to where we don't have to make every single extra someone special in the universe. Yeah, it's such a two-way street on that. You know, like my go-to gripe is the Mandalorian episode with the ATST where they're fighting it. All of those extras, all those people all look the same. They have like the same Star Trek The Next Generation looking costumes. There's like no one has any individuality whatsoever. They look terrible. You know, and it's so it, but these guys like on this one right here, there's like just they did a good job with the variants and all of the extras in this one, like on this show especially.
Yeah.
Star Wars in Game says, I like how Boba didn't even check to see if the window would open. He just kicked it in and jumps through. No time to figure that out. But all I know is that that Tuscan kid, he gets a Nintendo 64 this year for Christmas. Because
he does.
there's definitely some old ass stolen electronics in here. But Star Wars in Game. So wait, the Glee 44 or whatever, however you say that, is that the small one or the big one? I'm guessing it's the small one.
The small one was the DL44.
That's Han Solo's is the DL44, and the E33 is what Boba was carrying throughout the episode.
Oh, okay.
And I think that one is one of those rifles that the Rebel Alliance you would get in the first part of Battlefront.
Okay. Yeah. Daniel says this is like Mando episode 2 with the Sandcrawler. Yeah, it is, and that's like this version of that same thing where it's like the same motif, 2 different ways in terms of like Mando universe. I like that about it. I'm cool with that. And he's fighting Jawas, so it has like a completely different comical kind of like side to it. But when I add the Solo one in there, then I'm like, it's okay. Train chases are fun, but enough.
So what would be there's got to be some kind of history there for the Mando and the Tuscans, because remember, he speaks Tuscan
Yeah.
to them and they talk. So, and it just seems like that this is kind of pointing out that they don't really talk to you or give you the light of day unless you have some sort of respect from them.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they regretted that, because when they have Din Djarin speak Tuscan to them and whatever, you're like, okay, you have that, right?
Yeah.
That's fine in one little moment. But when you're going to do a whole series where he lives with them, can you imagine if Tamara Morrison was barking at them all day? It would be comical. It would be like the special edition or a holiday special. You know what I mean? It would be like it would have been a mistake. So yeah, I'm kind of curious if they ever speak on that or not.
It's like, yeah, people are like, too many train scenes, and I'm just like, we're all clamoring for a pod racer series. They're just glorified speeder bikes. Like, if you've seen a speeder bike in Jedi, you've seen a pod race. Like, it's just a bigger version of that. So like, or more trench runs.
No,
like,
well, okay, no, but that's not the actual, like,
more sword fights.
No, it's what is the well of that? You know what I mean? Where is it coming from? The pod racing is chariot racing. It's the chariots from Ben-Hur. So if they do a chariot, cool. If they do a pod race, cool. But you could only, I think, pull from those inspirations so many times and change it up, where at one point we're just like, oh, this is all the same stuff. And with how slow the production pipeline has been on things, you know, I would have taken the chariot race in this variant of the pod race as opposed to another train. I like the train though. I'm not saying that it's beautifully done. It was masterfully done. In fact, I'd say it was.
I think where it comes from though is the fact that even though he's not in gangster mode here, it's a gangster show. Like it's a.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's if you're like old West gangsters, I'm like, all right, well then you're gonna rob a train. Like it just kind of like that's where it's coming from. Like Stagecoach, you know, like.
But
if in Obi-Wan he's robbing a train, did I get it? Like,
yeah. I mean,
not because it's the third time, but because what does the Obi-Wan movie series have anything to do with heisting a train? You know, like
yeah, but I mean, but the it's not like the Western as a genre is so small that's all you can do. It's not.
I fault Solo for turning Solo into a gangster like heist movie thing when it should have been more like truck and fuel. Like again, I say like a Smokey and the Bandit thing. Like, like
no,
he's a hauler, you know, like, and so really they shoehorn something else into Solo, and then you're like makes more sense than a Boba Fett thing. I don't know, like we could semantics one way or the other, but
yeah, no. Well, I mean, my whole thing is what is the reference, and stop reusing the same references. There's a lot more out there. You know what I mean?
Say can't be done.
You know, like I mean, that was one
Solo
of the
too. They just haul stuff. That'd be great. I'll watch it.
I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, had Solo not been an ensemble. I mean, they made a movie called Solo, which is very singular about one guy, and then they make it, but then they make it an ensemble piece, and it's
like making A-Team and it's just Mr. T.
Yeah.
All right. You know, it's opposite. Get it?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is, if you make the A-Team, give me the fucking A-Team. But if you make a movie called Mr. T, just give me Mr. T. I don't need the A-Team in the Mr. T. You know what I mean? So there would have been more. There could have been more exploration of Han Solo in that movie, less about characters who are some ways squandered. You know, like.
They could have left him where he's just trying to get off that planet at all, and just made the whole movie about that.
I mean, just we learn a lot about a guy wanting to play a Valakor and his girlfriend, and they fucking both are dead by then. And him, I get, he needed to die. Beckett needed to die, but not Danny Newton.
Second highest grossing film in 1977 was Smoking the Bandit. If Han Solo ain't Smoking the Bandit, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like Smoking and the Bandit is literally something that they should be pulling from. Like, I mean, it is like this, like it hasn't come back. Fast and the Furious and that shit just completely overlooks everything, at least as far as I know, that was good about
Snowman, you got the ears on, Big Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily. I mean, we could put Han Solo on a CB. I'm okay with if Han Solo has a CB. I'm okay with that.
Would have been if he had like a shitty little and a speeder. You could put the CB on the speeder. You know, like it works. It's so Star Wars techy. I mean, I like it.
Yeah. Star Wars Instance, by the way, now I have to look how to make a gaffy stick.
Oh, here, speaking of Smoking the Bandit, here's my little model that I did of it.
Oh, look at that.
Oh shit!
It's a little dusty.
Look, yeah, Jesse. Look at Jesse coming in with the model of the car.
We got a long way to go.
You got a Diablo sandwich right there too. Because now I'm hungry.
No, I'm going to try to build the trailer too.
When I was a kid, my I don't know what car is that.
This is a '77 Trans Am.
When I was a kid, my dad had a Z28 Camaro. I got to wash and wax it forever. Was always told someday this will be your car, which I never wanted it. Never wanted it. But I was like, oh, okay. It never was my car.
So that's the one thing I actually got. That's the one thing I actually got. My dad's first car. It was my first car. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was a '63 Chevy Nova, which was.
Oh, that's cool. Isn't that like? Car. Is that fucking Ash's car? Is that the car that Ash has in Evil Dead?
Oh no! That's like a Plymouth Belvedere, like a 4-door.
What am I? Or am I thinking? Am I thinking of Phantasm 2? Anyways, I don't know my cars. I don't know.
Yeah, you see a lot of it now when you see them. They're used for drag racing mostly because they're just so tiny and light that you can fit. You can fit a big engine in there without doing a lot of work to it, and they can just fly.
Right. Yeah. So here we get a good look at the dudes with the mask on and with on and off and a couple of the variants of the mask. Gotta say, I thought the guy in the fancy red jacket was going to be the leader. He's just the most stylish one. That's
the rest of it. The rest of it, when they're sitting the mask on, is like they look like backup dancers for the weekend. I was like,
I was wondering, are they going to do a Hans Gruber moment where he's like, Tokesh and then graduated MIT 1977, Pike's trading school, boarding school, 2134. It's me. Enough.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting on Nalhutta collecting 20%.
Look, we're just a group of guys who like to get out into the desert, dress up as shy guys, and do what we do. Can you just?
This is where that Korean K-pop stuff's heading, man. I'm telling you, be careful.
Is it?
As if they do the end of the world, right, Jesse?
Right.
Hey, are those ice cream makers? Yep, there they are.
Yeah.
There's Wilro Hood is like, hey, I want my shit back. Those guys stole my shit.
I don't know. Every time I see that shot too, that's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Like, what? Wilro Hood looks like, yeah, he kind of does have some Neil deGrasse Tyson, but yeah. See, look, same piece of luggage again right here coming out again, same thing. But look, you can see like the back of their heads right here. That they're like almost like crustacean-y fit, like almost like a, I don't know, part lobster fish. Something's going on there.
More like a giant cricket. What it looks like to me.
You gotta know what a crumpet is.
Or they could be the background players in the new Little Mermaid. I don't know.
We've already decided that yet they're from The Weeknd.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, this guy right here has the coolest mask in my opinion, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the Guavian trooper thing.
You know how when Maul took over the underworld and or Mandalore, and then there was like the Mandalorians that were like in red and stuff to like evoke Maul. I wonder if any of these guys ever get on board with the old Maul train and
Maybe they know Moloch.
do that.
They still can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy, he seems pretty stubborn. He seems like a pretty stubborn little fish man at the end of the day.
I like how he's like, but what about money? What how we'll have to walk. We'll have to It's like, yo, I could gut you and leave you in the dirt, or you could head in that direction.
You start
Yeah.
walking,
Here's if you're
chump.
fucking safe. You die here, or you take your chances walking in that direction. Like, it's way too much like niceness in this scene for me. I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
let's
it is
be
a
like,
Delta
look.
88. That's right.
As a kid before the Z28, my dad had a Ranchero, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
have memories of getting in the back of it, him putting the lid on there, and driving me to Gemco to buy Star Wars to buy a Star Wars
Dip
figure.
it to now.
And I was just like, I was like rolling around in the back,
With
like
the
it was a
nail
different time. It was a different time. Like,
No, I know. My stepdad had a 66 Ranchero, and that thing was just like a boat, giant boat with a back end.
Yo, my stepfather
Open.
gave me a Lincoln Continental, bro.
that's
What
the
year?
car my grandpa
What
had.
year?
A 79.
Wheeled it in. I rented out this trailer in a mechanic's backyard. They wheel this thing in, and the mechanic's looking at me, and I'm like, a day later, I sold it to those Cash for Cars, and I used it to go finish off getting my Nintendo 64. September 27th, 1996 was the day.
Yeah.
So,
What
My-
year Lincoln was it? You remember?
78.
Yeah,
Dude,
my
white.
That's the way.
my
Wide body,
grandfather,
baby.
he retired, and that's what he bought. So that was like my grandparents' old person car. Like he had like two cars, and that was like
Yeah.
the fancy going to church car, on Sunday. But my grandpa would also take that one around. But I remember being like 3 years old, standing up in the front seat
Yeah.
while they
There's a-
drove that big ass car around. And when they would go to
There's a
stop, my
picture.
grandma would just put her
There's a
arm out.
picture of me. There's a picture of me in the passenger seat, like at 6 months old, just sitting straight up in the passenger seat in my dad's car while he's driving along.
Yeah. Yeah, the not the other day, but one time only. My son, we were eating outside in the parking lot at a fast food place, and close to our house, and I just drove away without him jumping back into his seat, and the little dude just like put his seatbelt on,
Uh-huh.
and I drove about, I don't know, maybe 100 feet out of the park in the parking lot. I was like, "What are you doing, man? Get back, get in the back." And I was like, but I remember that sometimes I was like, he was pretty smooth. He was pretty smooth about it. He totally wanted to make it happen.
I bet.
But one thing I thought was sort of really smart and good about this episode is it was a really good idea to do this water party along with the dance party at the end. But by doing it, like I feel like when you get the water party, then when you get the dance party though, you have Boba going on his little trip when he takes too much lizard acid. And so had they just ended on that, it would have been another like, oh, that was the ending. Like that's where you ended. So putting the dance party there had to happen unless they put the trip before. But they also story wise could have had him go on the trip and use his
So-
gaffy stick here. It's kind of
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to ask. Like, so when he takes his lizard ayahuasca trip, is he transported somewhere where he can grab that branch and bring it back?
it's Tales of Power, my friend.
Is it
It's-
like Black Panther, where you just kind of
It's a look, it's a shamanistic kind of journey that guys like Boba Fett go on, and girls with fancy Instagrams, and everyone else just throws up. They just go, "I felt sick afterwards." No, I really do kind of think that it, in a weird way, the way that they're handling it in Star Wars universe is probably the equivalent of a Force vision that's induced by the lizard, if you will. And because like he goes out there, he's clearly not transported to an ocean. It looks like Camino's ocean, honestly, with the tree in the middle. But he does go to a tree in the desert, and he does get the stick and bring it back with him. So, but when you get down, I think at the end of the day, it's just choose your own adventure when you get down to it. Because I mean, Rey and Kylo are moving items through space and time through a dyad connection in the Force. So he for all we know, he did go to that place and come back with the stick. I mean, I think it just depends on what works for you. In my head, he walked out into the desert, probably like pissing and shitting all over himself and drooling, and people were just like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Rey Skywalker," and he doesn't know what he's doing.
They're the opposite
Did you
of
see
the
a big naked Indian in your dream? Like,
Yeah.
Jim Morrison. We had to beat them to death with their own shoes.
But I mean,
There was a
imagine
big naked Indian in my dream.
Biggs. I'm sorry, Cammy and Fixer are sitting out in the front. She's finally warming back up to him after what happened. You know, when he looked like a little bitch at dinner, and then she has like her little sand garden out there with some sticks, and her collectible cups are in the shelf back there, and then Boba Fett walks in all cracked out, and just like takes the wooden stick that she found out in the desert.
Well, she thankfully didn't get caught up in the Beanie Baby thing, so she dodged a bullet.
Yeah, but anyway,
retail during the Beanie Baby thing, man, it was
rough, wasn't it?
Watch two old women get. I had to call the sheriffs. They were like fighting, ripping shit over. Dude. I was like, "Does someone want to hold Rosie O'Donnell responsible for this?" Like, I don't have a problem with her, but between that and Tickle Me Elmo, I felt like she caused a lot of property damage. For a lot of hate that Christmas.
Hey, Mr. Hamilton, how's it going, dude? For what it's worth, this is just me again. This reminds me of a Phantom Menace shot almost for some reason. Something about it. It has that vibe to it. I dig it.
That's because I designed the choker. That Tuscan choker is something I designed for
you don't know some kid named Anakin, do you?
Yeah. So what does this piece right here do? Is this like a space vape? Is that what it's getting all
I think it's the filter that goes into their mask that gives them whatever they need.
They're always vaping.
Could these be the tooth of a toothy Sarlacc? Perhaps. I don't know. He needs a new robe though.
Could it be dragon teeth?
Yeah, right. Look! His robe is ripped on the shoulder. It needs a new one. Boba's out here getting brand new threads, and the cheap looking.
I like how they added the red though on the black. I thought that was good.
Like Shredder's cloak in the first Turtles movie, right?
Yeah,
Shredder's got that red.
I remember you.
Man, as a kid, dude, I totally wanted to be in the Foot Clan when they were like still and shit. Like that looked like so much fun.
Oh, the movie that was awesome. Honestly, I thought the way that they did it.
Yeah,
I actually liked it.
Peter says the Ewoks are probably enjoying their dinner, and Boba walks up, bath salts, takes their table legs, and walks away.
Boba walks up in bath.
Yeah.
So now the first episode, Boba, and he gets out of the tank when she's asks him to wake up. The pod says healing process paused. So is all of this like he's trying to get healed all the way, but he can't stay in there long enough to heal all the way because these issues keep coming up and pulling him away from it?
Fennec keeps interrupting him. That was at 88%. You keep ruining it. Hey, boss, you got something to do. Amazon package. Really, I was healing for the Amazon package.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think your reading of that is exactly it. I mean, they have moments where they show the scars on his back, and so obviously, when you know anything about anything, you're like, oh, well, those are scars. They don't hurt anymore. It's fine. It just looks bad.
Well, we don't know that.
But we're supposed. I think it's supposed to. I think by the end of it, those scars won't be there. I think he's going to completely,
recharge.
Yeah, he's getting a Back to the Future Part 2 rejuvenation overhaul, and he'll look almost exactly the same.
As long as he doesn't peel his face off.
Yeah, he'll get to keep his eyebrows. His eyebrows will come back, and that'll be the only difference. But
yeah, when they spoof this in Spaceballs 2, it'll be Pizza the Hut just turns to dough when he's here. Right? It's just nice, clean, smooth dough.
Do the Arlnaut guys? Do they do the Mando stuff, or do they just stick to the movie so far?
They've done a couple one-offs, like they did Existential Troopers,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Like, which is great. But, yeah.
they're like Creepio is just hilarious, and but
Flesh.
yeah, but there's just so much here. I mean, because they look at them, you know what I mean? They're just whatever they decide to do. If they did this episode, it's ripe for it. Chris, how's it going, dude? Chris says, have to wonder why did he leave the Raiders? Because what causes him to look for his armor again? I think the answer is actually in the vision. As he's going through, as he goes through this journey, when he takes the lizard up his nose, and as he walks through, he starts like trying to figure all the stuff about self is involved, and he goes on that journey, but he sees himself in that armor. So like that armor and his dad is a part of the very like nature of his identity, is my take in my reading of it. So as he sees himself wandering around the desert, he doesn't have the armor on, but he does. And so to become who he is, he needs it. He needs to get that back. And, and it's part of his legacy and stuff like that. And when that tree, when he has this poltergeist moment and the tree starts to like squeeze him, it starts to turn nightmarish. It turns into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, my only gripe about that scene is in the concept art, it's clearly Jawas, and in the scene, I'm like, it just looks like red-eyed owls or something. Like it's hard to see.
When I first watched it, it reminded me of the Clone Wars when we see like the evil little Yoda dudes. That was like what I thought. I was like, I'm like, is that them? And I was like, yeah, it's not. I don't know what it is. And then you see the concept art. When I watched it again after seeing the concept art, I do think that they're supposed to be Jawa eyes though. They do maintain the
some of them have red eyes. That's true.
Yeah, they're all red eyes.
Clear though.
Yeah,
like the silhouettes are way fuzzy. Also, is he the one who shoved the radiator into Fennec's stomach?
Yes.
Like, did Boba do that? So when he started getting all like, hey, and in my free time, I like to shove ice cream makers
internal organs
people.
Rebuilt by hand.
You know,
I told you last episode, Boba has performed many back alley abortions. He knows how to do all of that stuff. That was his first job.
What would they say? Evo Shando performed a lot of unnecessary surgery. Series of unnecessary surgery. You know, like you think he grabbed some of those Tusken kids out the fire. I was like, now I can remake him. Like, or the Tuskens like machines too much and just start cybernet.
No, and at this point, he doesn't even probably know if his armor is still even around. For all he knows, it could be toast somewhere. It could be off world.
I'm guessing that he knows it being what it is. It's most likely around. You know.
I'm guessing that part of him is dead to him now, and he's something else, and this will have to some other thing will come through that forces him to,
I have a feeling he's gonna inherit the ire of somebody who's just gonna come and wipe them out.
I mean, the story too pulls.
You mean like the biker gang, like the Gonjacks,
plus the biker gang plus extras.
I'm in no way an expert on Dune, and I remember a little bit of Sunday school, but it does. There is like that general motif of you go out to the desert, to the wilderness, and then you come back ready, focused on what you have to do. And like I think that happens in most of these stories. And he goes out there without his armor, but he's technically going to leave the wilderness with it. He gets the armor and returns back to like civilization, and I think that's an important part of that journey. Star Wars in Game asks, is that an underwater breather on the leader of the Tuskens?
No,
they all have those, and they always have.
And it's just a filtration thing, from what I understand.
But I'm wondering now if it's become traditional, because it says that there used to be actual oceans there. Like they're an ancient people. They've been there forever. They're the natives. I'm wondering if that's going to change, and it's become that they kept those on, like for that reason.
Jesse
you know?
read the visual dictionary and thinks it's canon. Like,
Which
one of
dictionary?
those guys. It's canon. It's real. No, they wrote
No,
it
no.
all.
I think it's more.
hear you,
It's
but
either
yeah.
some sort of respirator filtration thing, or if they do, like you said, maybe they have to stay moist more than a more normal humans, and so.
Well, but we don't. We see those things on all of them, but we never see them on their mouth or ever using it. And so, yeah, I mean, if I were doing the anthropology of this, that's probably what I would do. Is that if they kept wearing it, because a prophecy says one day the oceans will return, you know, or something like that.
Because in Phantom Menace, the breathers that Obi and Qui-Gon used were pretty small, and
Yeah,
it would be able to last them pretty.
Same kind of stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
the Jedi probably have like the top of the line ones from Coruscant with that Coruscant state sponsored money
I mean,
that they were getting.
Never
could be making their
underestimate
own
that
things.
Sometimes things just look cool to certain people. I mean, like, could you imagine another culture trying to figure out what septums are for? Why does all these people got septums in their noses? Maybe it was for like hooking up and like this. No, it just looks cool. You know, it's decorative.
Yeah.
There's now. I can't remember who wrote it now, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but there's this paper in anthropology courses that they always make like first years read, and it's this like, you know, couple paragraphs, and you think that you're reading about this foreign people, and they're called like the Nesamera, but it's like Americans or something like that, like backwards. Yeah. And then so when you get like halfway through, you're like, oh, I see what you're doing to me. You're making me make things exotic that aren't, you know. And but with Star Wars, we're gonna do that for sure. But this little thing in his hand right here, that's straight out of some shit Logray would have in his arsenal. Remember when Logray has that thing that spins around on the table and shit? But it kind of, yeah, this little bird cage. And the concept art, it's just a little tiny Tweety bird cage, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, well, you'll also be able to do this whole thing on the Galactic Star Cruiser. That you can have a lizard night where it's an extra 1,000, but you'll be able to let a lizard go up your nose, and you're gonna see all sorts of weird shit.
And you'll be in a
when you
safe
get done,
environment. Padded walls.
You'll be able to take a stick home. You'll be able to take a stick home when you're done, and it'll be worth the trip. Like,
I want to see George Lucas exiting the Galactic Star Cruiser mad that they didn't use his ideas.
That's one of them. Certificate of authenticity, please.
Get it? Worth the trip. Get it, guys?
Yeah. I'm signing up now.
Jet thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, Fennec. Maybe Boba will train someone to hunt Jedi. Yes, so far we haven't really had any inclination about how he feels about the Jedi one way or the other at this point. I don't think.
Doesn't care.
Yeah,
I don't think he cares, and that's good. I'm glad. I like how we're not getting any of it, any Force stuff.
Yeah. What?
Critters Part 3.
Totally put a lizard. He put a lizard up his nose.
Dude, Boba went out there and started doing some jackass style shit. He's like the Steve-O of Tatooine.
What I'm told.
Yeah. This screenshot, I'm definitely going to use this as a featured image. What's happened to Boba Fett now?
You got to send it to me so I can make it my wallpaper.
Right.
Yeah, well, Gary did this once on set, but it was really just a big gummy worm. We just told Gary, just wait, it'll melt. Just wait. And it melted. And that was the day.
God, I was like, you know, I was looking at people's like YouTube featured images, and like they all do this thing that I will never do, where they put themselves on the cover and they go, what's going on in this episode? And I'm just like, you look fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean?
I can't use it. Kenny, though, he thought it was funny, and so he put a sticky hand up his nose and was waiting for it to melt. But we had to
waiting for it to melt.
But we had to explain.
Oh my god!
So stupid.
Fuck.
So dumb, dude.
So
Well,
Eric
we
says,
broke Rob.
Look, it's the simple things for me, man. You know, I just picturing Kenny Baker with a sticky hand coming. You're like, it doesn't work like gummy worms, Kenny. You know, and then who gave him the sticky hand? And then little Wicket goes,
okay, about this.
Life's too short.
What if during this scene, sometimes he was that, sometimes he was Boba in the armor, and other times it was Kenny Baker in the same jumpsuit. Just like going back and forth for them.
The ones you mentioned, is it like a throwback to like THX 1138? I kind of buy even more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost a missed opportunity to not do the shot, or maybe they still will. You know, when at the end of THX, when he climbs out from the underground where everybody's living and he sees the suns for the first time, and he's like above ground and he's made it out of the system. It's a great shot. If they're ever going to steal something from George again, that's one to take. And I'm still waiting for it in this show.
Yeah, and I did like how they really are encompassing the two suns thing. They try to give us a couple of good shots every now and then of the two suns.
Yeah. Remind people where they are. All right, yeah, here it is. Here's that mystical tree. But there's also a little tiny tree over here. What's up with this?
Is that one of the trees that's on the in the train yard?
This is why I thought we were seeing Camino, and the big tree represents Django, and the little tree was him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I thought, are we seeing a dual image? Because the sky is very Camino-y, right?
Yeah.
That's where I was like, does this also represent a family tree? Like, are the eyes the clones? You know what I mean? They're all like.
I think your reading of it is completely valid. You know, they don't tell you, and that is a good reading of it.
And that quick shot right there, that does look like water more than it is sand.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely ocean, and so it's like in my mind, it's one of those things where he's seeing all this trippy shit that is personal to him. In reality, he's just walking out to this one tree on Tatooine that the Tuskens know about, where they get their shit.
And it's like a Circle K, and
yeah,
you know,
are you done with that?
It's a little space ride, like a bantha, you know, little like.
We got to use the phone booth.
That does explain the actions of the people near my Circle K out front, because they
are definitely afoot at the Circle K.
Yeah, no joke. When during the pandemic, when Bill and Ted came out, one of the things that me and the kids would like do is when we did go anywhere, is I would drive out somewhere. We'd look at how 7-Eleven looked. They would stay in the car, lock the car. I would run in, get like a snack. It was like a way of just like doing something and getting out. And when Bill and Ted was coming out, we'd go over to the Circle K. Every Circle K just has people walking around, talking to themselves, doing crazy stuff. And so, yeah, it's definitely they're definitely visiting the forest tree at Circle K. All right, here we go. Next screenshot. Yeah, so this is when he starts tripping balls on the inside. He saw Poltergeist as a kid, and he's like, "Oh, that tree, it's gonna get Danny," or whatever the kid's name was.
We are helping hands.
See right here, this is where I was convinced of the Jawa face right here, and up here on the left, it definitely does seem to evoke Jawas, but strangely, no Geonosian arena pussies. None of that was evoked, which I think we should do a whole episode on one of these days. Just
I think had there been a flash of lightning flash where it cut their silhouette so you saw the hoods, you'd be able to. I get the eyes and you can see it, but in the context of how quick it goes, in the concept art, they're kind of like all standing under the tree, which with the water doesn't make any sense. So I get why they're up in the tree, but. And
they definitely tried to branch it maybe with the silhouette here, or maybe I'm just filling in and seeing what I want to see. I don't know, but
I see a little bit of it, but
yeah, but it's definitely the concept art was like there's a bunch of Jawas. In a way, I wonder if they had done the concept art straight out, if people would have been like, "What are the Jawas doing there?" and it would have just made more questions than answers, you know, or taking us out of the.
Hey, if you're doing a trippy scene, you gotta roll with it.
Yeah. I'm with it.
I wouldn't even mind if it was all the clone troopers.
So notice how this time though he has no pussy mucus all over his face. This time it was a clean. He had a clean Sarlacc day. First time he was covered in it. You know. Honestly, I think he was
times a day.
He was swimming through King Kong's cream pie in the last one. I'm just gonna throw that out there. This one, no, clean. Douchey Sarlacc. Not a toothy Sarlacc, a douchey Sarlacc. Completely fine for Boba to swim in.
King Kong's cream pie and douchey Sarlacc are the two worst porn parodies ever made. The jizzies are like the worst of the porn rewards, and that would
nominated for 5 jizzies this year.
Boba Fett. But Boba Fett takes home the jizzy.
Douchey Sarlacc. Boba Fett, you win. All right. Yeah. Like a band.
Nominated this year for 6 awards is Tropical Booty Thunder.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do a screenshot of that. One moment I wanted to laugh at too was when they're taking all of the stuff out of the train, and Boba asks, "Is there any spice on this train?" And the guy's like, "What's spice look like?" And then it opens up and it goes into that Tuscan's face. Is that Tuscan like tripping balls now? Is that Tuscan like is he like hooked now? Like, will he do whatever Boba says for some more?
In a world,
that's where you cut to the Tuscan POV for the Oronauts video. Whoa.
Yeah, but
when you're stuck in the Sarlacc.
Yeah, right. It's not looking too good. Not looking too good, Boba.
Well, it looks like he's having a stroke with that droopy eye.
Yeah, it really is. Pretty cool looking though. You know. Once again, very, very neat visuals. Oh wait. Oh,
there he is. He's all wet for you, buddy.
Looks like
Sarlacc finish.
It's a lot
so
of
at the next celebration.
That's a lot of lube.
They have an open Q&A and it has to do with Boba Fett or just any reason at all. It doesn't even matter what the panel's for. Get in line and say, excuse me, why was Boba Fett has no mucus all over his face in one scene, and in the next scene he is rather moist with Sarlacc mucus? Can you please, would Kathleen Kennedy care to comment?
And what truly are the Sarlacc's motivations?
Yeah.
What aren't they?
I'm always really afraid somebody's actually going to do it, but then also secretly like, yeah, do it. But don't. Yeah. So this right here, this moment with the helmet is the one new created shot with the Daniel Logan wig on, pretending to be the kid. And then everything else is using the elements of the original.
Really?
Stuff.
They couldn't just get him and put a little makeup on him because he's still the same height.
Not everyone can be Ralph Macchio, Jesse, dude. The rest of us age like normal.
Oh man, I can't believe Terry Silver is a year younger than fucking Ralph Macchio, dude.
Macchio doesn't age.
I know, bro.
Like everyone gives Keanu Reeves. I'm like, Ralph Macchio doesn't age. It is crazy.
All right, so check it out. They could bring Macchio back and make a new movie called Karate Kid 4 for life.
No, I heard they're just gonna actually do it and make it 3. Or
they should get a sweet van and call it Karate Force. Karate Kid Force. Right. Dun, 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 dun. Karate Kid.
Yeah. I would have got away with it if it wasn't your meddling Karate Kids.
Wasn't for you, Karate Kids. Yeah, the better shot of the helmet. So I appreciated seeing, but look right here, you can see his face in there. It's Boba's face, Jango's, or is it Captain Rex's face? You guys, was this the first hit? Captain Rex is coming to Book of Boba Fett. You can see his face right there.
It's Omega.
Oh shit! Put some lipstick on it. It's Omega. Omega's gonna be in it. Yeah. Can we Photoshop lipstick on the Boba and say we have exclusive Omega screenshots?
Hashtag no.
Look, man, if I got in trouble for making up stories and that would not be good. This is a good shot. I like all this.
Yeah, yeah. This was one of the ones I had a question. I'm like, is this edited? Is this an edited piece from Attack of the Clones?
I mean, if it's not, then they went all out to put this in here.
Yeah, well, no, because like when you look at the credits, I don't think I saw like Daniel Logan's double listed, but it says Daniel Logan, is Boba Fett and little Boba Fett. So
but that would have been a good shot to actually have it in Attack of the Clones. To be honest with you,
yeah,
something where we care, but yeah.
But but I mean, this scene, other than just being like, hey, remember Attack of the Clones, if we want to look at it as a text, what is it saying? And it's saying that there's still like this little boy inside Boba who's getting up, running, waiting for his father to come home. Daddy's not coming home.
yeah, and there's the bed, and the Fets need sleep too.
Yeah, but I mean, his dad goes.
Whoever said the Feds don't need sleep? It's making controversy out of nothing. Like,
don't fetch me in, bro.
No sleep for Boba. No.
Well, then I've always like wondered. It's like every bed that they've ever shown as a bed is like literally like a padded seat.
No, Daddy.
A car.
That's not the slave one. That's just my starship, Daddy. Okay,
why does
son.
Daddy's seat have boobies on the headrest?
God, wouldn't that be terrible if they had a scene where it's like Django and he's like, all right, son, now it's your time. I'm going to let you rename the ship now that you're 11 years old. And he's like, I'm just going to name it Boba Fett Starship, Dad. All right.
I'm going to name it, I'm going to make it Jizz Master, because one day I want to be a master jizz player. Like, no, we are not doing that.
I want to call the ship Jizz Ears, because I love it when jizz goes in.
I always have my best games when I save for a week.
Jizz spray. I want to put big speakers and I want to spray jizz everywhere. When you hear the jizz.
I have this idea, Dad. Whenever I get a bounty
coming
and it's in the back frozen in carbonite, I'm gonna spray jizz all over the town as I fly over with my victory. What do you
know
think,
that sound they play when Godzilla comes through town? That's what they play when I'm around.
Smells like Teen Spirit.
What is the sound of Godzilla coming? All right,
that big siren.
Oh, I was thinking of the Godzilla. Yeah, so
all this stuff looks fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Especially like nice to see, with after all of the sand, all the desert stuff to really have the character. I know everyone rightfully so can be burnt out on Tatooine, but having a dude whose origin begins on a water planet, having his hell be a sand planet is kind of cool. It kind of makes
that's actually a pretty good thing, Dan, too. I didn't think about that.
But I would not mind somebody creative giving us a new environment. But yeah, this is a great shot too. The little boy looking through the thing as his hand comes through the sand. Two Boba hands, 2 walks of different Boba lives. He puts his hand out right here.
Does the same thing in Friday the 13th. Was it 5 or 6? Right? When they go, what was the one where they go to the grave when they put the thing in there and then the electricity hits it?
Oh, I think that's 7.
I don't know. Right?
I don't know. 10's going to space, or 9 or 10 is going to space. I think it's before that.
Boba's cloner mom shows up in Jabba's palace to bid for tuna, and she actually kills him. He doesn't do it. That's the big mind fuck. She's all, you were supposed to protect my boy, but you were making love. You were making love, and then she's
over her head.
Yeah, and then she kills. Turns out
my clone mom kind of looked like a lizard. Did she go in my head?
It was like a sack, I think, like a white sack.
Yeah.
Don't touch me anymore. Don't get these things off.
And then they're just like, "Oh shit, that dude came back." Most people who do that much acid, they don't come back from it. We were trying to get rid of you, dude.
He joins the Jawa cult after this. Bob was just working his way through the cults. He's going through a cult phase.
Still trying to find himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets really fat on Suka.
Yeah. I wonder if the trip is the same for the Tuscans who do it.
I'm the first man to combine spice and sugar together.
Yeah.
Sell my concoction.
So I bought
Yoki acid trip, man. Great.
Where did you get that? Oh, that's just Star Wars salvia. They just sell it at the liquor store at Tatooine.
Star Wars sangria.
So, hey, what's up, Reefer Man? He says, hi. If we had got this episode with last week's episode, I would have been happy. This was an amazing episode. Last week, not so much. Yeah, I always say I don't think you get this one without that one. I watched them, and I watched them together. Together, they're just a really great first opening movie.
Yeah,
it's definitely how it should have been. And if when I recommend this show to somebody down the road, if it ends up being so good, as good as it seems like it's going to be, I'll definitely tell people watch the first 2 episodes together. Don't just watch one and think you got it. But
to be fair, most anime is like that.
Most are like that. Deadwood is that way too. Here's another great one. Oh, crikey, Dad! This is how they got the crocodile hunter. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I only spent 15 minutes in there to give him 15%.
I was gonna say I'm never gonna look at the Geico gecko the same way ever again. Yeah. Schwarzenegger's like, I did that one in a movie once.
Oh God, that thing when they pulled out of his nose. I remember that growing up. It's like, that's fucking disgusting.
I'm both fascinated by the first person who cosplays this specific Boba and goes around with the makeup and does it, but also have to accept that they're probably insufferable and tell the same joke over and over again at the same time. But whoever does it first, hats off to you. That's great. Boba sneezing lizard.
Boba lizard variant.
He must have the COVID.
Him and the crocodile Loki go partying together.
Jeez. Yeah, it's pretty. In a way, I have to say, I'm not really critical of it, but if I had to be, the lizard I think could have looked a little bit cooler for being a hallucinatory lizard.
Those are dental implants. Those are not his original teeth.
Right,
Daniel.
So here is the stick that he pulls. A good look at it before they carve it out and make it into the good Durfee stick.
Your gaffy stick.
Got a gaff stick up your butt? What's your problem, man? Yeah. And then this scene right here, I just feel like juxtaposed. See, like right here, you see like he's fucking ripped. Like he's not fat. It's just he's so fucking ripped that he looks fat in the costume because the costume hides the muscles.
Well,
so
yeah, he's probably about 200 pounds, but he's carrying it well, and most of it's muscle.
Yeah. But in Mando season 2, when we were introduced to him, it just like my son, the first time he came out, my son calls Boba Fett. Starts laughing. Kids don't lie.
Like Ezekiel Elliott
kid.
From the Cowboys, like the running back. Like that's what a stout running back looks like right there.
Yeah. And
only guys say that shit. Women see thin dudes. Like my cousin hit me up about the Batman trailer, and she's like, he looks sickly. I'm like, women like bigger dudes. Like,
yeah, that's my only thing about Pattinson is like, it just doesn't look beefy enough to me.
I got down to 142 once, and everyone thought I had cancer. I didn't know, like, women were not interested. I was like, oh, you're not interested.
Like BMI and all that stuff.
Get back up to 200, they're happy. Like,
yeah, BMI and all that stuff tells me I should be like 185, and it's like if I was 185, yeah, I would look sickly.
Yeah, but this stuff, like I talked about yesterday, I think is juxtaposed with how he gets dressed by the droids, and that same kind of thing. In a weird way, had the edit been different and things taking place at different places, it might have been a good way to sag in between the two instead of using the Bacta tank, But I think that tank is going to be the device for it all. His scary
Now
dream,
he joins the League of Shadows.
right? Ninja Fett. So right here you can see all the
They
stars.
smoke. They inhale some smoke. They see weird shit.
Yeah.
Glowing eyes and the visions. Got the sword when he's done.
This could actually just be an admission that Fett is a masochist and into some very extreme kink.
That's what my arm looks like because I keep forgetting to put on the oven glove when I go to pull out the pizza. I got some this last year code. I go like, use the oven glove, you fucking idiot.
We're taking this Lord of the Rings cosplay really far.
Yeah. So
it says Anakin.
I'm guessing that this is included in here so that way when we get to the very end of it all and the Bacta tank stuff is finally done and he's 100%, I think they'll show his back at some point and it will look like Tamara Morrison's back.
Yeah.
You think the real asshole younglings see burn marks and call them Anaskins? The real asshole ones because they're really insensitive.
Whatever you say, Anaskins.
Well, hey.
Oh, hey, you go time out. No book it for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh. There was a scene that was cut from Revenge of the Sith where clones dress up in Jedi cloaks and start gunning down Jedi like use it like as cover. And they filmed it. You could see Tamara Morrison in it and kind of reminds me of that, but looks pretty cool. I actually appreciated it more at his look after seeing this episode than I did when I saw it in The Mandalorian. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
The material for the hood supposed to look like the Emperor's.
It's that same. It's very Star Wars boundary. Yeah, it's
same.
Luke Jedi is like that as well a little bit. I think
Uncle Owen's material looks very similar to that stuff.
Very scratchy.
Yeah. Well, it looks good. That's a hot toy.
That's a hot toy.
There's like 5 hot toys in this episode.
Yeah, pretty expensive stuff, man. I don't know. I'd rather go to the Star Cruiser.
A lot of multiverse figures.
Yeah, so some of these shots just occurred to me. Probably a weak reference, but maybe referencing El Topo, the Alejandro Jodorowsky movie, visually. There's a lot of some desert scenes that really have a Star Wars vibe to them in that film. Have you guys ever seen El Topo by any chance? It's fucking wild. It's weird as fuck.
Long time ago.
Highly suggest watching it if you haven't.
College.
All right, I haven't watched it. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's a trip.
I imagine the leader of the Tuscans and the second in command, the female, they're both getting figures.
Oh yeah,
the Macquarie shot.
The Macquarie moment. Yeah. When I saw this, they pulled on that Macquarie moment very hard for Jakku and stuff, and on the Battlefront levels to such a degree that when I saw it, I actually didn't think. I thought Battlefront at first. I was like, "Is that a thing from Battlefront?" And then after a few seconds, I was like, "Oh yeah, there we go. I knew that." But yeah, it's boy, they're going down to the bottom of the barrel on that Macquarie stuff. Okay.
Start recycling it soon.
It's cool. It's cool. I just don't think that they need to all the time. I'm not mad at it. I don't care. It could have been nothing, and it's that. So it doesn't really matter. But another shot of it.
They need to pull from Snowcastle.
Snowcastle, the from the Lee Brackett draft of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right here. Putting it. See, like whenever I buy a new guitar and I think about it being made and how cool it is to make one, this is like what I imagine happened, but in reality, it's totally lame. It's totally just some guy going like, "Man, I hope the band takes off someday," and he's like sanding it a little bit. But
a friend of ours that was a retired police officer. Now he's retired now, and he went to Hawaii and fell in love.
Fucking quitter. Just saying. I'm kidding.
Ukuleles, and so he bought one, and he's like, and I think that was like almost 10 years ago, and now he hand builds ukuleles.
No, that's cool.
And just gives them to people. He doesn't even sell them.
Yeah.
This is crazy, but they are beautiful. They're beautiful works of art, each one.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I built a guitar once and it didn't turn out so hot. I'm not Brian May and his dad, it turns out.
I ripped out the pickups and the bridge for my first other guitar so I could put some EMG pickups in there.
Yeah. I've done that kind of, I've done like electrical work and that kind of stuff lots of times, but like I actually like bought like a body that we had to cut out and everything. That was
Really?
out of mahogany like Brian May. I wanted to see if I could get that going.
Ooh.
I used to cut a branch off my tree and make a sword out of it every year. So I think I did more of this than you.
For sure. I went to Home Depot and bought PVC pipe, made a lightsaber out of it, and then we fought and they broke right away because it was PVC pipe.
4 PVs. And you got a shard in your eye.
It was like a quarter. It was like a quarter or something for PVC pipe back then. But yeah. Yeah, right here. And he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a little sombrero, and you're gonna put it on your head. And you're gonna wear it, and that's when you're gonna cook. You're gonna cook lunch for us. You're gonna make the taquitos with this little sombrero on. We need that on Tatooine.
Why am I here making this? Oh, you need a shop class to keep going.
Welcome to sombreros.
I never saw it from that angle before. Now I'm hungry. Thanks.
What if at the very end, like you think it's like this big mystical thing, and then they like put it in his mouth, and they're all, "There's your nipple, baby," and they just start laughing at him and walk away and leave him alone forever. You know? Chris loves seeing Boba stroke that wood. Yeah, it was a mystical journey. Awesome. All right, here we go. Right here. Yeah, gotta put it into the forge. Somebody somewhere's like, it's wood. Doesn't wood burn?
Fire champion is ready for his debut.
This is how Joe Rogan feels every time he just cooks meat. He thinks he's having a genetic ayahuasca memory trip. He's building gaffy sticks and he's got robes and shit. And he's just making dinner.
Well, this right here is Boba cutting up his DMT for his next journey.
That's me trying to build those triangle paper footballs in Saturday school. Like, get to construct, get that right.
Yeah. So, it's forged by fire. And then here he is. He's like, "Do you like my wood?" Yeah.
It's rather sturdy.
And she's like, "Don't tell the chief, but I love your wood."
Takes triple A's or double A's.
Yeah. And then they have their
We'll be able to reenact this too for an extra $500 at the Galactic Star Cruiser, and we'll build a pit of Tusken children. We'll light on fire. Then you can dance around.
This was inspired by the end of Titanic when they all did PCP.
The interactive Tusken experience.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
Did you? Were you the one who reminded me of that? Of on Titanic, everybody did PCP because somebody like laced the punch bowl or something with it. Some equivalent to that.
The caterer fucking. It was originally in the documentary that they made for the Titanic, and they had to cut it out because they didn't want to get it out. But people on set, the director, a lot of people were tripping on that shit. It was really fucked up.
Because I watched
like LSD or a PCP. I can't remember which it was. But
I think it was. I want to say it was PCP, but I could be wrong. But was it the? And then I started thinking about it because I watched it the other day. I just had it on like while I was working and stuff. And there's this like, it's almost two movies in that movie. There's like the movie that's made back in the day, and then there's like the movie made now in present time, right? And I was curious if it was because when he has like the boat on Titanic with like all of the guys who go underwater, there's like Harry Knowles is with them or something, like some like Harry Knowles kind of guy and shit. Like I was like, that guy definitely put the PCP in there. Like that's what I think. So I was kind of curious which part of the shoot it happened.
Okay, it was a caterer in Rosarito.
Yeah,
it was on the Titanic ship stuff, not out on the ocean stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't trust those guys who are on the first boat. They seem like they would put PCP in your stuff.
You're still a judgmental kid, right? Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, I look out, I'm like, I don't trust any of them, and they're just like normal, nice people having a good day.
Yeah,
I love that weird off shade of green, man.
yeah.
I
That is
love it.
cool.
Like a little overexposed on the green or whatever. But yeah, Steph Green rocked this shit though. Gotta say,
Directed the 5th episode of The Watchmen, the Looking Glass episode.
is that a really good one? Is that a good
The
episode?
6th is the best one. It's the one where you go, what am I? Because the whole time you're like, how does this connect? And the 6th episode is the one that ties it, but the 5th episode is fucking super cool. Like, it's super cool.
Yeah, I when it comes to the Tuscan village and the three main Tuscans, which is the adult female, the chief, and the boy, there's a lot of assumptions going on. I don't know if anything's been confirmed by some, Pablo Hidalgo going, "You fucking idiots! Of course that's his son. You fucking idiots!" On Twitter, that might be a thing. I don't know. I haven't seen, but yeah, I mean you kind of got a couple of assumptions to make, and that's his wife and his son, or that's his daughter, his eldest daughter, and she's a badass warrior, which is something that they tend to like to do these days. I'm for it. I know it's not bad, but yeah, it definitely could be. I'm guessing. I mean, they don't seem to show any affection, and they don't. So it's really hard to like figure out what that is, or if there's even anything to it. She just may be a member of the tribe who's the best warrior at the end of the day. But we do have scenes we have many scenes of the boy and the chief and the woman together. So it kind of makes me think that they may be like that may be his wife and his son.
Later that night, but was sleeping, he feels someone crawls into bed, but it's the chief, and she catches them together, and that's
right.
how he had to leave.
It's Chiefs rules, man. Chiefs rules. If you ask Steph Green, she'll tell you it's all about Chiefs rules. That's what she wanted to call the show.
Oh God.
Chiefs rules.
So I wanted to bring up.
We heard it the 5th time. Yeah.
We got this covered.
Big NFL fan, big Kansas City fan.
So in the first episode, he and Fennec get surrounded by the Red Raider guys, right?
Yeah.
And the shield.
Or they're Nightwind.
Red Keys read. Oh yeah,
Nightwind. Yeah.
My one thought was like, there was nobody above them. Why couldn't he have just grabbed Fennec by the arm or the clothes and just pop it up and just
Fennec looks great, but she has a really, really fat ass, it turns out, and there was too much weight for the rocket pack. If you get the visual guide, it actually has an arrow towards Fennec's ass and it says "too fat to fly." I'm like, wrote that, not me.
Why is he wearing the fucking thing if he's not going to fucking use it? It's like he could have just popped it out of that situation.
No.
I'm blowing up a rocket in his face.
My take on it, really, I mean, Fennec looks great. I'm obviously just being stupid. My take is that he didn't want to fly without his helmet. Doesn't want to just get out of there. Yeah, and so I think he wants to fight him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think that's what he was. I think he was hoping to fight him because he does hope to get one of them and find out who's coming for him. So he's not necessarily just like trying to escape. That has to be what their logic was, because they could have very easily just had him not bring the rocket pack, or when he went into the place, he could have taken the rocket pack off, and then there were ways of handling it. They clearly, in my opinion, just wanted the rocket pack on for the visual look.
Yeah,
and decided to not.
You can always go back, Jason. You can just go back and you can just add a little effect, and then that'll explain everything. Yeah. You just add it in post, and we can update it, and people will see. Oh, it's because it was sparking, and everything will be solved. Yeah.
So
it's brilliant digital technology. You can just solve it and after the fact. Great.
Now we know why.
Yeah.
Star Wars in game,
stylistically, it can be fixed that way. Yeah.
Is asking, do you think the rest of the episode will be as long as Chapter 2, which I think goes really well with this shot of written by Jon Favreau, because I think was important to remind everybody that this is the same writer of all of this stuff for the most part. Main writer is Jon Favreau. And so as we've seen, his first episode that he directed in Mandalorian season 2 was super long, just like this one. So at the end of the day, I think Favreau is willing. He doesn't really I don't think he puts fat in his stuff. I think he just writes exactly what it needs to be, and without there being time constraints on the story and what the episode is. I think it just ends up being what it is. And one of the powerful sides of streaming and Star Wars not having to adhere to like a 44-minute runtime on a TV show like Firefly or something, where you start to see those moments where you're like, they just needed to fill shit up, you know? And so this right here, my guess is one of the Rodriguez episodes will definitely run as long as it needs to. It will probably be one of the longer ones, but I don't know. In the past, I think they're mostly going to be the 35-minute, the 37-minute range. And then the last one will definitely probably be longer. Unless the penultimate, I hate that word, episode ends up being the long one. And then the final one is the aftermath of just wrapping up loose ends and sort of like a coda to the whole thing, you know? I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think it's going to be random run times the whole time?
Yeah, I think it'll be totally rando. I like John, and I like Favreau's music. Writing a lot.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to some Star Wars series not written by Jon Favreau. Like, it's 3 seasons plus a 4th coming up. Like, it'll be nice to see between Obi-Wan and Andor just a little bit of a different Filoni, rather than the Filoni Favreau combo. Like, there is a stylistic tone that has been pretty consistent. I think that I don't want in everything. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
You want your Deep Space Nine, you want your Next Generation, and
we don't want Voyager.
Yeah,
that's why I did not say Voyager. That's why
this close to getting Linda Hamilton to be the captain of that show. That would have been. I'm just not a fan of the captain. I didn't like her in Remo Williams either. Sorry.
Yeah, one of the things about Kenobi is that it's using so much of the same stuff as the Favreau content, and the Favreau content, it doesn't matter. But Kenobi is going much more for that standard Star Wars feel, and it's using a character that we're super familiar with. And I'm curious if Kenobi plays weird at all because of that, not because of the filmmakers, but because of the technology itself. Whereas like Cassian is being made by one of the main people who made Rogue One what it was overall, and using practical real sets for most of it. Most of it's all.
You covering up in your mic? You got muffled.
I'm muffled.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a muffled man. Muffled man. But sorry,
Muffled man.
I'm a muffled man. Anyways, yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see how these end up coming out. But the next 2 shows that we get, we're definitely going to move away from that after this one. And I am liking though the directors, like the Rodriguez and now Steph Green, both of them. It's not feeling like a huge retread on that front, and not entirely, anyways. But I'm also curious to see what Dave Filoni does. His episode is likely coming up pretty soon. I mean, I don't know. I just keep feeling like
it's all lizards, man. That's the name of the episode. Chapter 4, all lizards, man. And that's where Trandoshan show up. So it's gonna be a lot of lizards.
He's like, look, man. He's like, you don't just start running like a whole drug game in one day. Like, you got to start out just selling some weed on the street, man. And that's what I wrote.
You gonna see what it's like when you have a lizard up a lizard's nose.
Hey, man.
I mean, you never thought you'd see that, but you're gonna see it.
Hey, man. Want to snort some gecko? Who wants to snort some gecko?
Every day. And then I want to get froyo because I like mochi with my froyo. I have a lizard in my nose. I get froyo with mochi. It's the best. so light and fluffy and ayahuasca.
The Filoni creative process never stops giving.
Never stops. Never stops stopping.
Even I don't know where that voice is going to take me. You understand? Like, I don't know where any of that shit comes from.
It's free flow jizz. It's free flow jizz. Chris is looking forward to the Fettbacks. Which part of his life would you guys like to see next? And for me, I would not mind seeing Daniel Logan playing Boba Fett in certain parts of his life. I don't think we're going to get that. We're not going to
jokingly almost said potty pants. Potty pants Fett. Like
potty pants
but,
Fett.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you mean. Like actually, right after, did they ever cover right after, like where he was, like on Geonosis, like after those moments, how he got off the planet?
No, I don't think so.
There was a series of kids books, young readers, and they are actually really good. And they obviously aren't canon now, but they told the story about young Boba Fett and what happens to him in the aftermath of those stories. And like Count Dooku keeps the money that he was supposed to pay Jango. Like Boba goes out looking for Count Dooku, thinking he's going to get paid. And he's like, I'm not paying you. You're kidding me. And like loses the slave one. And so you have this story of like a lost kid who starts to like kind of pull his stuff together and become hardened and tough. And it's really good. So in terms of stuff to pull from in that story, it's all there. It's all if they wanted to, but at the same time though, I wouldn't mind seeing 20-year-old Fett played by Daniel Logan doing stuff for a time, just to see how that goes and to see what's there. I mean, because right now I do think we may walk away from this series feeling like Boba Fett was born, then his dad died.
He never really lived.
Yeah, and then he was 46.
And then he was 46.
You know what I mean? And then he was 46. And
but just get Ralph Macchio to play fucking Daniel Logan when he's like, in his 30s, because the fucking dude looks like he's perpetually. I'll give any one of these left-handed fingers for Macchio's like aging ability.
Daniel Logan looks young too. Daniel Logan has the Macchio.
That looks great for his age. Everyone looks great. I'm the only one that's just grayed up at 30. Like I was hoping 20, like Steve Martin.
Yeah,
like, the sooner you go gray, the less you age
thing.
as a white man. Like
right.
Yeah.
Jason says those flashbacks are going to really tie together his plan for being a crime boss. I feel there is a reason other than a retirement plan for him taking Jabba's throne.
Yeah, there has to be. That's the whole basis or thesis for the show. We don't know. I mean, look, there was, again, the thought I had that in the Starlight Pit, he'd have an existential moment of realizing he's just a pawn. Like every version of him was a pawn, a clone trooper pawn, a stormtrooper pawn. His father ended up being a pawn. He's a pawn. Now he's here to rot. This can't be the legacy of, imagine if you were a clone and there were millions of you and you all died tragic. It's like the worst version of the Loki show you could think of. Like you were all pawns in a giant intergalactic war. And what have you done with your life? Like, so there's something there. They just haven't written it down yet for us to know what your log line is, right? Like specifically, we got a premise, but we don't know what the internal drive is here, and they have to say that. At some point, right?
I would think so. I think at some point, in like Godfather Part 2, you get the flashbacks to Godfather when he's a kid leaving the old country and all that stuff, and like why he ends up the way that he is. And that's the only other way I could see doing it. I haven't watched Godfather Part 2 in a while, so probably dropping the ball on that a little bit. But I think that there's two ways of doing it. It's either what he wants or why he is the way he is. And I don't think that they're going to do that one because that would just settle for him being, a bad guy, and they're not doing that. So, But yeah. At the same time, from what I understand, this isn't a limited series. This one is intended to keep going. I'm thinking that what they're going to end up doing is probably pivoting every year between Boba and the Mando, or just having them run into the same series, which is possible. by the end of this, it just becomes one thing. Because
Bobalorian.
well, that's the thing is when you look at him in season 2, he didn't really seem like he was all about picking up the Mandalorian past. He didn't necessarily seem like it was necessarily that important to him. He does have the chain code moment where he reveals, like, look, my dad I'm one, and they have that moment.
Really just a copy like every other NFT. Sorry, easily copyable. They're everywhere. Disposable. Gives a shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I mean, but with all that, like, they may take it in that direction by the end of this. He may come to why he's doing it. And I know, like, I think a lot of most fans will probably take it back to revenge on the Jedi. If he gets that amount of power, he then has the power to take on Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess Leia and get revenge against them, which is, like I said, a very comic booky way of taking it, but completely possible even. But I have a feeling that he may, by the end of it, embrace more of the Mandalorian side of things. And then that way he plays into galactic events through Din in a different way. And, whether that leak is true or not, I do think that that's where this was ultimately going to end up going. I mean, or he could be the bad guy in the whole thing. He could be the bad guy, the Mandalorians. He could be like Din might end up bringing it back to being what it should be, a warring but honorable race. And he may come in and wanting to bring it all into the underworld because that's a way to make a lot of money and a way to really give Mandalore the space bucks it needs to fund it, because they have to. I mean, after all of the shit, if we want to get hyper realistic, which is not always a good idea, but Mandalore has to be a planet that is, like, not doing well economically. I mean, Lucas modeled it after post World War I Germany. That was his idea for it.
Then would he end up with a Darksaber possibly?
Well, that's another thing. Is like, yeah, as if Din ends up has it and he's Mandalore, is Boba's ultimate goal to restore Mandalore and become Mandalore himself, because that puts him at odds with him as well. Yeah. Well, that's like the other way you do it is you just have him not really give two shits about the Mandalore thing in the big picture. He cares about his dad, but not about his dad's heritage. I mean, you can. That's possible. They can do that. It's out there.
Din takes him on a cultural museum tour. Gets him all like teary eyed.
And he's all, wow.
Big painting of Jango's face.
I never really realized it, but Sabine Wren's art really is quite beautiful. Have a new appreciation for the Mandalorian history. Yeah. And then before we go, Star Wars Again says, if Jango talked to Boba about being Mandalore, that could cause problems between him. And yeah, exactly. Seeing how Din ass to mouth has the Darksaber, it is basically Mandalore. What does ass to mouth have to do with any of this? But anyway, yeah,
at the moment.
All that
yeah. Well, it's an easy mistake, Jason. I gotta tell you, many times these text messages, I just read them incorrectly, and it gets me into a lot of trouble. I'm finding it's the certain pronunciations. You have to syllableize certain words in a very interesting and unique way that.
Yeah, his enunciation is very precise at times.
Yeah, for Modesto, it's very specific. Yeah,
it is.
All right, well,
that's where my stepfather lives. Yeah. I used to live in Modesto.
Ass to mouth. I mean, at the moment, yes, he does. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, I think we did it. I am officially burnt out on this episode. I'll probably not think about it for a day and then watch it again because I miss it.
Now you know how these poor fools feel in an editing bay, right? Oh, sure. Can make this shit go away, dude. When Lucas says he loves being an editor, I'm like, that is a tedious fucking process. Like, there's a great movie documentary. I'll get it for you if you want to see it, called Cine Screen. It's about all the editors. This was done years ago. But like they each have their different process. And like one of them had like all the photos in a room. I think he's like a 360 room, and he stands in the center, and he's like working out all the scenes for big budget films. And it's just like there's a mindset to that you have to stare at the same shit. It's why I don't animate by hand.
Is it Walter
spent like
Murch who stands up when he edits?
one of them. Yeah, I think that might be the guy I'm
I think
thinking
it's
of.
Walter Murch. Like I think so. I think he stands up and edits standing up. That's like how he keeps in it. But yeah, but I mean, but sitting there looking
staring
at
the same thing over and over.
Yeah, Walter Murch. Yeah, who directed?
But imagine
the best Clone Wars.
So I'm talking about in animation. If you have to like look at the same thing you're animating hundreds of times, right? But in editing, you have to see all the different takes that day. Like how many takes did we do? 40 takes in a take, 36, take 37. You know, and then Lord knows me if you're on a fucking Kubrick film.
Well, I mean,
how that's like
when you think about Lucas and that, like when you have directors like Francis Ford Coppola, and that's who you are cutting your teeth with editing in so many words, you know, I bet you every fucking take was good. Even if it was bad, it was still probably better than your average take from an actor, because he's such an asshole that he really makes you work and you don't fuck around. You're very focused because he'll abuse you with his words if you don't. And so you have Lucas, and Lucas just is a dreamer who gets to think, what if? That's what he likes to do. So he likes editing because he gets to go, what if we did it this way? What if? And then eventually he has, this is the best way we can do it. And when you're doing,
what if I didn't hire Jake Lloyd and I didn't have 37 takes of him saying Iago the wrong fucking way? You know?
No, but exactly. But then when you have George Lucas directing and he doesn't care about performance, then you just go, yeah, we got it. And then he goes that magic. Magical
not
editor.
That one.
Yeah, the magical editor, all those ideas, they don't get to free flow in the same way. But I definitely feel like that's the big difference actually between Lucas and his contemporaries.
The closest merging of the two moments I've ever seen in Star Wars is in the making of Episode 2, where that poor guy had to like animate Yoda saying "Begun the Clone Wars has" for 6 fucking months. Like it felt like probably was. It was probably like a week, but it felt like he just, no matter what you do, you know, and they're all virtually the same fucking thing. But then at the end, Jordan's like, "That's perfect, fabuloso," and he's just like, "Oh God, please just make it." And everyone in the room behind her was like, "Well, he liked this one. I don't know."
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend who got a gig working on the Star Wars prequels back then. And when I would talk to him, he was out for ILM. He was out in a trailer, and he said it was like slave labor. It was bad. He was like, it was either freezing too cold or too hot, and the computers were crashing and shit like that. That it was not a good time.
Yeah, the art of cinematography documentary is really good. Joel, you know what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, anybody have anything to say before we go?
Nope. I'll keep trying to bring those toys out.
Is Mike?
Yeah, he's gonna go do some Smoking in the Bandit models and just do his thing. You know, that's cool. Whenever he's not here now, though, and he's working or he has an ear infection, I'm just gonna assume he's doing Smoking in the Bandit models. I'm like, well, I don't know why he's not here fucking doing another Smoking the Bandit truck model. He's doing a model of the CB from that shot in Smoking in the Bandit.
Got to get the snowman down.
You know, you could have just bought the real CB probably on Craigslist or something.
Probably. No, there's like actually a couple of like companies and private people on Etsy or whatever. They actually make the decals, wet transfer decals for the trailer and the rig for Smoking the Bandit.
Do they make a replica
on the side of it?
Smoking in the Bandit mustache.
So the trailer had, I haven't Googled it to remember, but as I remember, the trailer had like a wagons being pulled by horses.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay, check it out. So in high school, I was friends with this, my culinary teacher. His name was Mr. Yaki, super old guy, super nice.
You have a culinary
teacher? One teacher where like,
that's cool.
Yeah. He just let me come in because I could make my own food and coffee in the morning, and I would draw. Because I had to get to school either like cutting it super close because the way the buses ran, because I took bus 7 miles to school, or I get to school like 2 hours early, and he was always there early. So he'd let me make my own breakfast and clean up. And so I'm doing that for years. I'm always drawing in there. We're always talking. Right before I graduated, 4 years of this, he goes, "I want to show you something." I'm like, "Oh no, yeah, you're gonna show me his dick." And he pulls me in the back, and there's this board, and he moves it, and somebody had drawn that horse carriage from, it says 77. He's like, "Yeah, student, the last artist in this school that was really good drew this," and I've been, it was one of my first students I ever had because he'd been there for 20 years. And like, he's like, I hide this, like it's put over, like no one could see it. He's like, "I'm retiring next year, so who knows where to go. I just wanted you to be able to see it." Like the school had a hidden art treasure, but I was like, "Is that from the Smokey and the Bandit?" He's like, "It is."
Nice.
And I was like, "That's awesome."
Awesome. Completely.
Yeah.
I wonder if that person became a successful like artist in the field, because they would love to see that. I'm sure if they're still at it, like
or they were at January 6th a year ago. I don't know. I'm hoping it's your story, your version.
I got more for Christmas, and so I got this one to do too. I'm gonna do this one she got for me for Christmas.
What is it?
Oh,
that's the car from Supernatural, the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of that, and then I realized that it was about 3,000 episodes, and I was like, "No, I'm good. I got it."
No, I like
Wait
it.
till you discover One Piece.
There's a lot of actors that come and go on good shows, and they pop up there in that show.
The comment: "Rob was such a great student. Love hearing his high school stories. Got to love this a-hole."
It's going right on.
That's
my
why I took auto
tombstone.
shop my senior years, because I had a car and I wanted to work on it. Nobody else had a car to work on, so I just bring my car to school.
Yeah.
Just wanted hot oatmeal and a cup of coffee. Still can't fix a car. I don't know. I'm like Larry David in L.A. "Hey, I'll give you $10 to just listen to me. Can someone help me with the jack?" I busted track in the Army. I couldn't tell you what we did. I delete that knowledge the minute I left the motor pool.
Yeah.
I went back in my room and drew Star Wars. Like, whatever. Someone on the tank will know this. Like, I don't need to know.
And I have to say, I've been admiring your background the whole show. Just wanted you to know at the end that Boba through the Sunning Glass.
Is that Boba Steve or Marcy?
Boba Steve, definitely Boba Steve. All right, guys.
Roads. Yeah. Well, with Easter eggs, right? That's my thing now. I'm gonna start recycling these backgrounds and just shoving relevant topic Easter eggs into them. So, that's all I got.
All right, everyone. I'm going to play the ad, and then we will see you guys tomorrow. Hi, I'm a cartoon depiction of Jason Ward. You can support the show on patreon.com/MakingStarWars or on YouTube by becoming a channel member. It hurts to be a cartoon. It's very painful, in fact. But know that every time this channel gains a supporter, a little piece of my soul leaves this toon universe and returns to Jason, making us whole again. This show will always be free, but it's never been free to create. If you think it deserves it, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. Thank you for the support. Please, help me die.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
It's in my nose. Oh my god! I think he left the shit in there.